Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by Winamp. Subscribe to TWiT and all your favorite podcasts with the ultimate media player. Download it for free at winamp.com. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 275, recorded November 21st, 2010. Angry Pigs. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Go to Assist Express. If you're in tech support, solve problems fast with a leader in remote support software. Go to Assist Express. For a free 30-day trial, visit gotoassist.com/twit. And by Audible.com. Sign up for the Platinum Plan and get 2 free books. Go to audible.com/twit2. And introducing Metatropolis Cascadia, the sequel to the award-winning Metatropolis, narrated by an all-star cast from Star Trek. Download a free story from Metatropolis to find out how Cascadia began at audible.com/meta. And by Ford and the new 2011 Ford Edge. It grabs attention as well as it grabs the road and features available My Ford Touch to connect you to your vehicle in new and innovative ways. The 2011 Ford Edge. Drive one this week at a Ford dealer near you. It's time for TWiT, This Week in Tech, the show that covers the tech news of the week. And which is why it's called This Week in Tech. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. One of the original, actually, I have 2 of the original Twitters here. Mr. Kevin Rose of Dig Nation.
Hello.
That's your camera right there. Straight ahead of you. Yeah. Say hi to the people.
Hello, people.
Hello, people. Also with us, David Prager was... the first TWiT was recorded in April 2005 at the 21st Amendment Brew Pub. And you were there, right?
Yeah, right after Macworld.
But you know who's never been on TWiT before, and I'm really thrilled to have her right now, Zadi Diaz.
This girl right here.
Yeah, this girl. Which 2 thumbs? What is that? The two thumbs who've never been on TWiT.
Right here.
Yeah,
2
right
thumbs.
here. So good to meet you, Zadi. I feel like I know you so well.
It's great to be here. I know all of you guys through many various kind of places. So it's really, really awesome to be here finally.
When did you start doing videos on the internet?
2004, I started as a video blogger. And so through that, got hooked up with Rocket Boom as a correspondent and then started doing our own show, which at that time was called Jet Set, and then it turned into Epic Foo.
Love Epic Foo. Yeah. And you're no longer a Brooklyn girl. You're now in the LA area. Yeah,
I'm in LA 5 years now.
It was
Brooklyn.
the Jet Set show, right?
The Jet Set
It was.
show.
Yeah, I remember that.
What a great show that was.
It was fun.
You're really a pioneer in this business.
Yeah, I remember actually when we first moved to LA, we were teaching people how to video blog in the Apple stores. That's how far back we go.
It's hey, there's
before Dig Nation. That was a long.
There's a long time ago. Yeah.
It was it's still a small world now, but back then, I mean, there was only like there was Jet Set show, and there was like Ask a Ninja and Tiki Bar folks, and like maybe a handful of others, but it seemed like that was almost kind of it.
Yeah. Tiki Bar's
That was
gone.
before-
Ask a Ninja
that was
kind of came
before
back. He did a few
iTunes.
shows. Kent's been doing some shows.
Yeah, we've all been kind of coming back and forth. I think a lot of the first people kind of got burnt out a little bit. you know, there's that burnout rate that you go through where you're just always online. And I'm sure you guys know, it's kind of, you have to take a breather, reevaluate it, and then kind of come back.
Well, I think part of the burnout is if you're doing this and you've been doing it for a long time and you're not making any money at it, and it's like, I give up. But you gotta hang in there.
Yeah, if you love it, you hang in there.
You do it because you love it. That's always what I told people. They say, well, how do I make money at this? I said, if you're asking that question, you're in the wrong business, because it's not, you don't do this for the money. You do it because you love doing it.
Yeah, that's so true. That applies to so many different things.
It tries to everything,
I see a lot
really.
of entrepreneurs ask me the same question. They're like, I think I'm going to make millions of dollars doing this. And it's like, you're probably not. So
Right.
you make sure that you really love what you're doing.
Right.
Like, you got to be happy making $50,000 a year doing this.
Right. That's good. So even for entrepreneurs who are looking for a big exit, that's still the thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely. I remember, I mean, when Dig was starting out, I was just thinking, like, as long as I can pay my rent, if I could do this at home, that would be so much fun, you know, to be able to work on that site at home.
Then you know you're in the right business.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a really good, you know, those, what is that company, that website where you do the funny videos? They did the Apple iPhone versus Android. The woman comes in there. They look like little Japanese cartoons. They did one on entrepreneurs.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to make $1 million.
That's right. You've got to play that. That's amazing.
I'm going to try to find it. If I could find it, I don't know how to.
What was it on? It was on TechCrunch.
Maybe it was on Tech, but yeah, good luck finding something on TechCrunch. They do 40 stories a minute.
I know.
It scrolls off so fast. All right, we're going to put Kevin to work. Here's his chance.
Suck at this kind of stuff.
Wait, it's not
The
one of those
chat room will
Is it
find
one of
it.
those
Chat room.
animations where you make the little characters talk?
Yes,
Yeah.
you make the characters talk.
Chat room. You
Like,
remember
I
that
wanted
one?
iPhone
And it's the
4.
one on Extra Normal. Thank you, Gunnar.
Extra normal.
Extra Normal. But there's a lot on Extra Normal, too. I don't know if I'll be able to find it by just going there.
The chat room will find that. They're good.
My kid's humanities teacher, that was one of the assignments, is take some text from one of the books they were reading and put it to make a movie out of it with Extra Normal. I thought that's pretty impressive. That's pretty cool.
There we go. We got a link. Leo, bam, YouTube.
We
This
have
could
a
be
link.
this could be
Bam!
Rickroll.
All right, we're going to play it.
No, this is the iPhone 4 versus HTC.
Yeah, we've seen that one.
This is a new one.
This is one that's same idea, but it's you know, I am going to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's pretty profane. I probably can't play it. You know what happened to me? Now that you explain this, I don't understand that. Maybe Zadi, you would understand this. We use YouTube. We put our videos up on YouTube. Why not? I mean, that's where the audience is. It's probably not a huge revenue for us, but it's something. It's video. Well, we just Sarah and I do a show called iPad Today. We just put it up. YouTube put it number 20, pulled it down for inappropriate content. Now, we've been blocked a lot of times for copyright violations.
Did you take your shirt off again?
I don't think boxers are inappropriate content. But no, I was trying to figure out what it was, and we did show.
Now, did they pull you down, or did they pull it down because more than one person complained that it was X, and then they have a default that says...
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and so YouTube will pull something down because... You know, if
they don't
more
even
than
watch
3
it.
people have complained about something, and they can complain
And
about
there's
it for
no
whatever reason they
recourse.
want.
It's like the barrier brigade we have at Dig. Like a bunch of people get
Yeah.
together and they
Of course.
all of a sudden it
But at
comes
least
down.
you or Dig. This is there's nobody you can
nothing
call
you
at
can do.
Google. There's nothing you can do.
No, you kind of get swallowed up. It's literally like if more than 3 people flag you. It's kind of frustrating.
So that
Especially
makes
if
me-
you know that there's nothing wrong with your video.
Yeah, there's not.
Did you get it back up on YouTube?
How do you get it back up?
Well, you appealed. I mean, I know you know.
Who do you appeal to?
You know
Support
some
at
people there.
youtube.com.
You have a
Oh
person
yeah,
that
you appeal to a Python script.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Support.py. Help
But
me.
you have a publisher account though, right? You have
Yeah.
like the hardcore account.
It doesn't mean anything.
They don't give you priority support or
Hell
anything?
no. You get nothing. It you know, I'll tell you what it reminds me a little bit of Facebook. It's the same thing with Facebook, which is, yeah, Facebook's great, and if you're a business and you have to have a page on Facebook, but I always tell people, but don't count on it because if Facebook for any reason could pull it down, and who are you going to complain to? They have 500 million users. What are you going to do about it? So I can't really complain. YouTube's free. It's
Right.
given us a lot of free bandwidth. So
It's got to be hard for YouTube at that scale of users to be able to support
yeah, I
something
completely
like
understand that. It's just a little bit frustrating. You know what? I think it was there's a new iPad game from id. Have you played this yet? Rage HD.
Oh, I saw the demo for this.
It's awesome.
It's just a demo, right? It's not a full.
No, it's a full game now.
Oh, it's out.
It's out. And
What
let me
is
tell
this?
okay, well, I'm going to have to pull it out here. Obviously, I have to show you because
I have not.
You have the thickest iPad case I've ever seen in my life.
You still
well,
have your Dodo case,
that's
right?
because I don't want my MacBook Air to feel bad, so I have a nice thick. It makes it feel more like it's you know.
You know, one of the things YouTube also does is that people probably realize if they have songs that are copywritten, it'll automatically get picked up by some algorithm that works the same way as like the likes of a Shazam will work, and they'll recognize that there's a copywritten song and pull it down. However, if you are one of those people that does like say a lip dub of something and you put the entire song, or you do a recreation of someone else's song and you do your version of it, YouTube has the relationships with most of the larger recording studios where they will put ads on that.
I love
and give
that.
the money not to you, the creator. Like, so if I go sing a song of someone else's, I get nothing. And even if it gets seen several million times, now who will get money is the studio that owns that song. So YouTube.
Well,
has gone
remember
and cut
J.K.
deals.
Wedding Dance, right? Where the people came out dancing, and it was a Chris Brown song. I think it was.
Oh yeah.
And so the studio that made the song, instead of pulling it, which they could have done, or cutting the audio, which they could have done, said, "Oh, we'll just put an ad there." It went back right to the top of the chart,
Which is good, yeah. But a lot of times now, by default, those songs will get recognized automatically, and
It's automatic.
based on the deals that YouTube already has
Right.
with certain recording studios, they will basically put the ads on there and give that money 100% to the studio. So you as the guy who's doing a version of that song. You just have to be knowing that it's someone else's song,
we've
and I'm
lost
willing
Kevin.
to get the views, but the money's not mine.
We're not
going to
get Kevin back.
How do I shoot?
Down in the lower right.
Oh, I
There's
see.
also ways around that also with the music, isn't there? That where you can speed up or slow down, and it can't be detected as easily. So I've heard kind of like
all
there are
kinds
kind
of
of
ways to game the
Isn't
system.
the
the graphics on this
great?
thing are amazing.
So this
aren't
is
they?
id, the guys who did Doom, and they made
How do
it
you
for the
find it?
iPhone. It's 99 cents on the iPhone, $1.99 for that game with high def graphics on the iPad.
You know, it's funny. I feel like
awesome.
shooting like this, going.
I know. There is a game where you're controlling a World War II anti-aircraft
Wow.
gun, and
You guys want to play?
you're passing it around. Hey, congratulations to our friend Jay Adelson, who I know is watching. He has a job. So that's exciting. You know, we interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. We do a thing at 4 o'clock on Wednesdays. Tom Merritt and I interview a big name, Gary Vaynerchuk, your friend. Gary's coming up Wednesday.
Oh,
We're going to
awesome.
interview him. But we interviewed Jay, and he said, being an entrepreneur is addictive. And I'm trying to come down. My wife's helping me get this monkey off my back, right? And he said, you know, the excitement of it, because we were talking about Dig and the highs and lows and the nerve-wracking nature of it, which he says, no, but I love that. I'm addicted to that. Did you feel that way, or was it
I mean,
stressful?
It's there's a lot of fun. I mean, I think that the thing that's stressful is
Pull the mic up a little bit.
okay, sorry. I think that it's I can't. Should I put the headphones on too?
You don't need to. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
I'm sitting right across from you.
It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely you have to be willing to kind of give yourself some time to reset, because you can go really hard for a couple of years.
I think that's what Jay was
and if you
doing.
just plow through the entire thing. So Jay took a couple months off here, or several months, like 4 or 5 months before he
He's
started
back
his
at it.
next thing. He's back at it. I'm gonna kind of do the same thing going into the holidays here. I'm gonna take a couple weeks off and just kind of let myself just. Well, I haven't had a real vacation.
I'm going to take 2 weeks off.
Well, I'm just. You need it because you get really stressed
You need
out.
2 months off, though, dude.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but we'll see.
So Jay got a job at
Simple Geo.
which is what?
It's a geolocation like storage company. So essentially, if you're building something new like a Foursquare, Gowalla, whatever, you need to build out a new type of architecture or back end to support that.
So it's
And-
infrastructure for these locations. See, that's smart, 'cause
location-aware data is different. It's
Right.
not like storing it in a standard like MySQL database and you're all good. You have to go from a point and then go out from there. And so in order to query that type of
that's
data...
interesting.
Yeah, it's a different type of database that they use, and I don't claim to know all the kind of hardcore stuff that they do, but essentially what they're doing is they're creating layers of data. So you'd be able to go in and say, okay, here's a pinpoint. Let's say this particular office here. Show me around this area all the Flickr photos. Show me all the Foursquare check-ins. Show me all the Gowalla stuff. Show me the temperature of that day, that time, and day.
place.
So they're doing a bunch of different stuff. So if you have anything that's location aware, it's like the S3 or EC2 for location stuff.
I think about who made the money in the gold rush. Some miners did, but mostly it was Levi's because they sold the pants and the picks. That's where you make money, right?
Yeah, that's what they're betting on. So we'll see.
You sell the stuff that so who knows who's going to win? Foursquare, Places, let's go Walla.
Right.
But if you make the data that they all need, you're guaranteed to win. Joe Stump started that. He was a dig engineer, yes?
Yeah. So Joe's a dig engineer. There's a bunch of ex-dig people, like 4 or 5 of them over there.
Cool.
It's awesome.
Let's see. News. Steve Ballmer throws a chair at effing Google. I love it when Steve loses it. I think this is one of the best things that Steve does. A reliable source, this is according to John Battelle, passed along a legal document in the ongoing lawsuit between Google and Microsoft over Google's hiring of Kai-Fu Lee. The document is the declaration of Mark Lakowski in the case. Lakowski was a distinguished engineer at Microsoft who defected to Google in 2004. His statement makes for some pretty interesting reading, to say the least. The statement reads in part, prior to joining Google, I set up a meeting on or about November 11th, 2004 with Steve Ballmer to discuss my planned departure. At some point in the conversation, Mr. Ballmer said, just tell me it's not Google. I told him it's Google. At that point, Mr. Balmer picked up a chair and threw it across the room, hitting a table in his office. Mr. Balmer then said, effing Eric Schmidt is an effing I'm going to effing bury that guy. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I'm going to frickin' kill Google. He then spun around. His head exploded and he fell over.
Fracking. So he was a Cylon.
He was a Cylon.
This is awesome.
This is 2004.
Wow.
They're still waiting, Mr. Balmer. Is it like that, Zadi, in the internet TV wars?
You'd be surprised. It's very much like this.
No.
It's actually quite civil. It seems like anyway. It's still that small community that's not making that much money, so we're all very friendly with each other at this point. I think that when you do get to the point of Google and Microsoft, your head does tend to explode a little bit more rapidly than probably if you didn't have that much to lose.
You said the key thing. None of us making any money, so it doesn't really matter. At this point, the stakes are low.
The stakes are low. That makes for very friendly people. But I could understand the frustration behind, having an employee that you probably find really valuable. All of a sudden leaving to go work for your competitor.
I think Jim Louderback threw a chair at Eileen when she left Division 3, didn't he?
Eileen awesome.
Prager?
Yeah, we were very glad to get Eileen.
I mean, I wish
actually, Jim called me up and said, "Stop poaching my employees." I said, "It's just Eileen."
I hear her laughing at me. Eileen also lives how much closer to here, I guess?
She moved closer, yeah. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
And so now Eileen and Tom work together again because they work together at Tech TV?
Well, they are, I believe, hitched in holy matrimony. So it really doesn't... Zadi, are you and Steve an item?
We are. We're married.
In holy matrimony?
We are. We've been married for a couple of years, but we've been together for a really long time.
Steve Wolf, of course. Now, Steve, besides producing your shows, he also works at Blip TV, right?
Yeah, he's just started being the...
Are we all supposed to pause?
Yeah, we're all should freeze right now.
Just freeze. Wait until she comes back.
That's polite. That's the polite thing to do.
Like, just hold your hands.
You're doing like the whole peace sign. Live long and prosper.
And there she goes.
So you're talking about having...
Whose idea was it to build a business on Skype? Oh, me!
Oh, we've been trying to do Skype stuff between LA and New York last week. It's just a pain in the ass.
If somebody can find an alternative to
You
Skype,
need to build your own.
Like our own software?
Yes.
Lipe? Leo Skype?
Leo Skype.
Lipe.
Lipe?
It's not that hard. Steve Gibson...
you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please.
Steve Gibson, I'd have to get a British lady to do all our announcements, though. Thank you for calling Leo Lipe. Leo's not here right now. Steve Gibson was going to write something like that, and then he said, "Oh, Skype does it fine." Well, maybe we should get Steve back to work.
You probably do more video conferencing to a studio than anyone else. I bet. Like CNN does a bunch of people that Skype in nowadays because you can.
But nobody does this. Nobody has the Skypeosaurus.
No,
it's 4 Skypes.
Great.
When Colleen built that, ESPN called her and said, "How did you do that?" We said, "It's all on the blog. We don't hide anything."
But you don't do the 3D imaging into the studio like
No, I don't. That was
you remember
CNN.
that?
You're trying to reach is currently...
You know who did that? Well, you guys wouldn't know him, but
David Borman.
David Borman. Do you know David?
Yeah, because he consulted with when they built the Tech Live set.
Yeah, well, he did exactly. He did. Oh, that's right. He came by because he was the guy who did Ziff Davis's.
And I remember they also blamed him when Bloomberg decided to make their TV screen. The actual TV was the upper right corner, and the rest of it was stock tickers and lower third chasing headlines. And there was a tiny little corner up there, and everyone was like,
that was Borman. Yeah, nice guy, David. Actually, he. She's back now. Okay. Eileen's amazing. No wonder you were mad. She just fixes Skype. She just
you should use her. But last thing that she was doing at Revision 3 when she left, because you're talking about how you don't want to necessarily have a show that covers just Android or just iPhone or
she's
just...
doing app judgment.
Yeah, so she was producing it, but then she was so good at it and was so involved in it that she just, she was talent for the show. And then,
no, I've already told...
There's no reason not to have her.
Actually, I haven't told her yet, but I'm going to tell her.
Yeah?
Because we were going to... I'll tell her later. We were going to do it. Hi, Zadi. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, it's cool.
You forgive me?
I think it was my fault.
Oh, did you push a button?
No, not at all. It just dropped out. It's all good.
Skype, What are you going to do? Windows, 25 years old.
Crazy.
Yesterday was the 25th anniversary of Windows 1.01. Paul Thurrott had a picture on his blog.
I have Windows 1.0.
You have? Oh, you never
you
opened the
don't.
box.
So
You donated it to the...
No, I did not donate.
You lent it to the Computer History Museum.
Computer History Museum, and it's on display right now, sealed Windows 1.0.
It's sealed.
And it says like on loan from Kevin Rose. On the
Oh, isn't that great?
So
But you know what? It's going to be like a bottle of wine that they open and there's nothing in it.
Right, totally.
Sand. You know, Kevin
I
said
shook it
was,
around and I could hear the
you
discs,
could hear the discs.
5 1/4 floppies
5
in there.
1/4. This was basically at the time. It was just a shell on top of DOS. I mean, it wasn't even. It was just a program.
But what did you use? I remember I used to use Norton Commander or NC Small, so you could just go up and down like your file directory. And then for multitasking, because you couldn't do it before, I would use like
Desk View.
Though.
Desk View.
I used Desk View.
Yeah.
I used to use Desk View, and then
Zadi's way too young to remember any of this stuff. Zadi, what was the first operating system you remember using?
My first computer was a Tandy.
Oh, that's pretty good. That predates Windows. That's good.
And then I went from that I went to an Apple IIci straight to Apple.
So you're older than you look.
I'm actually 86 years old.
You started when you were 1.
Yeah.
25 years old. On the one hand, 25 years isn't really that long.
Something long. Yeah.
On the other hand, you know, in computer terms, it's a long time.
Do you remember using it soon? Because I remember specifically not using Windows in a way. The same reason that I was embarrassed to like maybe use something like AOL. Like, no, I'm not going to use Windows. That's like
it's too slow.
It's too slow, and it was for all like the noobs in a way.
Well, it wasn't. It was just really slow. Like when Windows 3.1 was out, if you had like a 386, it was like DOS is faster. I could change directory to any directory I want, execute any file I want to run.
I didn't use Windows until Windows 95. That was like the OS 10 moment for me. Like I never used Mac OS.
So you don't ever remember? Do you remember going in?
I remember
editing,
using 3.1, but I never not really wanting to.
Did you edit your autoexec.bat and config sys files?
Oh hell
all the time, yeah.
Okay.
You have to.
You have to get the memory. And so you'd rim out some stuff.
EMM 386.
You need a little extra memory. You go and rim out a couple things.
Yeah. Sure.
That was funny.
But I didn't really use Windows until 95. I remember using it occasionally to run certain things or to check out what was going on, but I never really adopted it until 95, which is crazy because that's only 15 years ago. No.
Steve was there, by the way. Steve Balmer was here. Here's a little promotional video for. I think this is for Windows 1.0.
How much do you think this advanced operating environment is worth? Wait just 1 minute before you answer. Watch as Windows integrates Lotus 123 with Miami Vice. Now we can take this Ferrari and paste it right into Windows Right. Now how much do you think Microsoft Windows is worth? Don't answer. Wait until you see Windows Right and Windows Paint and to listen to what else you get at no extra charge. The MS-DOS Executive, an appointment calendar, a card file, a notepad, a clock, a control panel, a terminal, a print spooler,
that clock was
RAM driver,
amazing.
and can you believe it? Reversi. That's right.
Reversi.
All these features in Reversi.
But it didn't have solitary yet.
How much did you guess? 500? 1,000? Even more? No, it's just $99. That's right.
That seems pretty pricey.
It's
Yeah, it was like
incredible
back then.
value,
It was
but
like
it's
$300
true.
probably,
It's
at
Windows
least.
from Microsoft. Order today. P.O. Box 286 DOS, except in Nebraska.
You know what? You gotta love his enthusiasm. I do. I think it's great.
He's sweaty and desperate even back then.
Jeez.
Like, I mean, I still think that the fact that a guy would go up on stage and be talking about developers the way he was with that kind of passion, I think is awesome.
He's a salesman. He's what you look. Go ahead.
It reminds me of Crazy Eddie. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah, he was doing Crazy Eddie. He's insane. Here in the Bay Area, we had Tom Campbell, top of the hill, Daly City. He was a fast talking dude. Here's another one. This is also from the super site for Windows, Paul Thurrott's blog, winsupersite.com.
Oh, I've seen this one.
So a female executive in a suit, circa 1985.
This is like a song, right?
Oh, this isn't that really bad.
Options, just a moment.
This isn't that really bad one, is
Nielsen
it?
Barrel and Chain.
A lot of them are.
They're so
I'm
bad.
sorry, he's in a meeting. Research.
He's in a meeting.
Morning, Catherine. Any calls?
No calls, but Mr. Payne said to be sure to give you
Now she's from the Bronx. She was from Tennessee a minute ago.
Did he, say what it was?
Are you kidding? When he's around me, Payne acts like everything's a secret mission.
I gotta skip ahead to where they start singing, because
Where did they
you can see it's Mission
Because
Impossible.
this seems like the kind of stuff that you would
so
would create now
crappy.
because you can put it on YouTube for people to see the long form version. They never put this on TV.
No, I think they show it at the partner meetings, developer meetings, stuff like that.
Switch into communications. Auto
This is Windows 1.0. Horrible. By the way, 16 color screen, that's part of it, right? 640 by 480.
See now, Perkins.
Look how productive she is. When is she going to start singing?
And paste it in.
I remember that mouse. You remember that?
Yeah,
Microsoft
the original
mouse?
Microsoft mouse.
Starting to sweat a little?
Remember when the curved Microsoft mouse came out and everyone was like, ooh, it has a little curve
swoopy
to it.
doopy.
You remember that? It was like a little bit slightly curved.
Because the first one looked like a bar of soap.
Yeah, that's right. And then the hockey puck from Apple. Remember the IMAX?
I have one of those. You want to see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
Remember the hockey puck?
I haven't seen one of those in forever.
This is like the Computer History Museum, the
There it is.
local version, and then we got a verbatim
5
data
1/4.
life 5
Amazing.
1/4. That's not even the floppy. That's the cleaning floppy.
Oh man. Oh, funny.
Apple USB mouse. Yeah, this is when they had the balls.
Oh, we lost Zadi again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Zadi. Twitter CEO's reaction. Dick Costolo. Do you know Dick? You must know Dick.
I know Dick, yeah.
Seems like a nice guy. I didn't know he's an improv guy. He must be funny. Is he funny?
I haven't heard him crack any jokes.
Okay.
Wow, the mouse works.
Of course it works.
It's awesome. It's
And how
weird
do you
to feel a ball moving around.
Yeah. We haven't
there's a
had
ball
balls in
in
a
it.
while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since.
I remember there was the oldest little joke. You take the ball out of the person's mouse, they come back and they wouldn't be able to move their computer.
Really easy to fool, huh? All right, let me call Zadi again. It's terrible. It's the
Where you take a screenshot of their desktop and make the image their desktop.
So Chen Jianping, first Chinese citizen sentenced to a labor
person whom
camp.
you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please
Next time use Lype, the first Leo Skype. Chen Jianping, 46, believed to be the first Chinese citizen sentenced to a labor camp for posting on Twitter.
For retweeting.
For retweeting and adding a sarcastic comment.
She was sentenced to re-education through labor for accusations that her retweet of a message led to her disturbing social order. She used her Wang YI09 Twitter account to repost a tweet from her fiancé. The original message, I'll tell you, the original message was anti-Japanese demonstrations, smashing Japanese products. That was all done years ago by Guo Quan. The original tweet read, "It's no new trick. If you really wanted to kick it up a notch, you'd immediately fly to Shanghai to smash the Japanese Expo Pavilion." And then she retweeted it, adding, "Charge, angry youth. You're going to jail."
Wow.
Aren't you glad we live in a country where you could tweet crap and not?
I thought Twitter was blocked in China.
It is blocked.
It was when I was
It's blocked in China, except obviously you can proxy around it
Right, you can
without much
proxy
trouble.
around
So
it.
I think a lot of people
So
use
she
it
got in
that
trouble
way.
for proxying.
No, well,
And the content.
the content got their attention.
The intellectuals have been doing that for going around it
Has
for
the
a
Chinese
while.
government, I guess it's not their job to give an official word on why they arrest anyone.
They said it was for inciting angry youth. So Dick Costolo, who's the CEO of China, I can understand why he'd get a little angry, tweets, "Dear Chinese government, year-long detentions for sending a sarcastic tweet are neither the way forward nor the future of your great people." You know what? Good on him.
Yeah, seriously.
I agree.
I'm sure the State Department called him immediately and said, "Hey, dude, you can't do that." But good on him. Somebody's got to stand up.
Yep.
That's
wholeheartedly agree.
appalling. Let's take a break. I'm going to get Zadi back.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message.
If we keep this up, we're going to have to pay that Skype woman royalties.
Why don't you get telepresence to sponsor and give you some of that stuff?
We got-
Although you need to get it to everyone.
You
who
know what
comes
we
on the
got?
show.
I should.
Cisco. That's it.
Yeah, we got this. Yeah, hand me the Yumi. This thing is like what, $600 or $700?
Oh shoot, you do have it.
Yumi.
Oh,
Yumi. It's amazingly clear and lifelike. Maybe we should send this to Zadi. Bring friends to your living room on your HD television. Be together at the touch of a button. Well, we bought it just because we wanted to see.
Oh, you
if
bought
Cisco has any, yeah, I buy everything. If Cisco has any secret sauce, oh God, Kevin, you're strong. You get that from me.
So you put that on your TV? Why is it so heavy then?
I don't know. Maybe maybe it comes with a TV. It ought to at the price. All right, we're going to get Zadi back in just a bit. Before we do, I would like to mention my good friends at Citrix. They make a good product, a great product. I don't know if you remember, Kevin, we used this from time to time on the screensavers to we would reach into people's computers and fix them. They've come a long way since then. Go to Assist Express is now the #1 remote solution worldwide. That's according to Frost & Sullivan. They're an industry analyst group that focuses on this sector because it's easy to use, it's affordable, it's secure, 128-bit SSL, which means that your supportee, for instance, can be a Starbucks. Doesn't matter. They're protected. And I really like this. You don't have to pre-install software on your customer's machine. So I've done this with my mom. You know,
I do with my dad.
Yeah, she complains. I say, okay, here's the link. Click this. 30 seconds later, you're in because it's
awesome.
very fast.
It's especially nice when you don't have a PC, because my dad has a PC.
But you're Mac.
And I'm a Mac. And I'm like, how am I going to go in and
works
help
on
him?
this, works on the 11-inch.
Right, exactly.
It's amazing.
That's what I use it for.
Go to Assist. I'll tell you what, you can try it on your machine right now. Go to assist.com/twit. You get 30 days free. Things like 8 sessions at once, unattended sessions. You can get an assay of what software is running in the background. It's just really fantastic. Go to assist.com/Leo. Give it a try. Hey, if Kevin uses it, it's got to be good.
It's pretty easy.
Zadi is back. Good. Let's try it. Is Zadi on like maybe a 3G or something?
Who's your ISP here?
Yeah, this is
I'm
on.
sure you're rock solid, but
yeah. Well, who knows? Zadi, what are you? Who's your internet service provider? What's going on there?
I just unplugged the router and plugged it back in. I'm not sure what was going on there.
Don't worry about it. We just did a commercial. You think of it. Look at it this way. You missed the commercial.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I like how she thinks. Oh, no, we use something called Ethernet to the first mile.
Oh, nice.
Which is it's SonicNet. It's 9 megabits up and down.
Ethernet to the first mile?
EFM. It's awesome. But you know what's funny? Because the new building that we're looking at moving into is right next to the telephone office. So we're going to get really good service.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Really good service. All right. How many of you have been groped lately? We talked about this last week. Doctor, who wears baggy clothes, got fondled at the TSA, and he was really upset about it. You know, the doctor
sucks.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't mean to laugh at Doctor. I realized after I laughed, I was
you know what it sucks for? Not Doctor, the poor guy who had to feel him up.
So when did there was a specific change that went into effect last week?
Last week,
So,
they put these new scanners that see through your clothing. There's 2 kinds. There's an X-ray backscatter, which is potentially harmful because it's X-rays, and there's a millimeter scanner, which is low frequency. In fact, they say it's less radiation than your cell phone, so that's probably okay. But you can turn it down. But if you do, they do a very intrusive frisk, which includes
So you have 2 options. You have we're just going to scan you naked, or we're going to just grope you. Almost.
Right, and there may be health consequences to this X-ray. I mean, it's an X-ray.
Oh, really? See, I didn't
wouldn't do the
health
X-ray.
consequences.
Well, you can ask the TSA guy. We found out. Ray Maxwell found out. You can ask the TSA, and they will say, because there's no way of knowing otherwise. Say, is it so? When you go up, and by the way, Wednesday is National Opt-Out Day. We'll talk about that in a second.
Because of the fact that the thing's moving.
You go up to the TSA and you say, is it X-ray or millimeter scan? If they say X-ray, even the pilots' associations are saying, don't do it.
Because they're the ones going through every single day.
They go through every day.
Yeah.
Remember, when you fly, you're exposed.
There's a lot of frequent flyers who fly multiple times a week.
Right.
Don't they get a lot of radiation just by flying in general?
Yeah, flying, you're higher, and you don't the cosmic rays are hitting you.
I can see. Well, I mean, but you're encapsulated inside of.
Oh, they say it's still.
Really?
No. Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I mean, I know that like UV rays don't go through most car windows even. It's got.
I don't think it's UV though.
It's not UV. It's cosmic rays from the sun. It's particles. So you heard about Adam Savage. He was at Woodstock, Seattle. And
actually, I take some strange things home in my laptop bag from work, as you can imagine.
He's, of course, from Mythbusters.
Before I get on a plane, some of those things are not only esoteric and potentially dangerous, but also expensive and hard to find. So I go through my laptop bag every time I fly to make sure nothing nefarious gets on there, except today. And I'm going through the TSA checkpoint, and you know they're doing the thing where they're yelling at you while you're doing what they're yelling at you to do.
Oh, I hate that, don't you? Where they say, take your laptops out of the bag, take your shoes, put them on the belt. They seem to take great pleasure in that.
So what did he?
The scanner, they put me through the body scanner, which makes, for some reason, my penis feel really small.
It's called shrinkage.
And then I get onto the airplane, and I look and I notice that I've brought this thing with me. 2 12-inch long steel razor blades.
Right through the scanner.
No way.
See, well, I'm glad he talked about it because it just goes to show how much of
This
this stuff
doesn't do crap.
It works and doesn't work. Someone posted an article, I think it was Barrett Lyon, who talks about. I mean, he has the fortunate chance. He started Big Gravity and a couple other companies. He has the fortunate opportunity to be able to like fly on a private plane frequently. But one of the things he noted is that like you've got all these private jets and all these private airplanes, some of them pretty darn big, where there's no security whatsoever. And it sounds like, oh, it's a rich person complaining about a rich privilege, but not really. It's going to show that like there's. If you're
a terrorist, get a G6.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can get in. I mean, it's almost a double standard on what you're protecting for, because you're not going to be able to screen or protect anyone who's flying a large. It's still not going to stop anyone from flying an airplane into something.
I had friends who just last week flew on a private plane. No search, no They flew across into Mexico and back. The custom guy gets on. He says, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" Okay, see you. Have a nice trip. I mean, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's so ridiculous because it's not consistent even throughout country lines. You get searched here, and then once you're, in Europe, it's completely a different way of searching. So what is? I had a friend only a couple months ago who was able to go through a souvenir pocket knife that he forgot he had in his backpack and went through.
And they took my nail clipper the last time I flew. I'm not kidding. They took my nail clipper. Like
that sucks.
I don't care. It's a cheap nail clipper, but still, what the hell? They were worried about not the 12-inch razor blade, not the pocket knife, my nail clipper.
Yeah.
What am I going to clip you to death?
What does El Al use? Because they've been flying forever.
Okay, this is a great question.
They've never ever had a problem.
So we talked with
the
Ray.
ones that are targeted more than anyone.
Absolutely, we talked with Ray Maxwell on the radio show just today because I said, Ray, would you do some research on this?
Mm-hmm. El Al, which is the Israeli
in Israel
airline.
This is all they do. They interrogate you, but they have military officers who sit there. They look you in the eyes and what are you up to? Where are you going? And it's very effective. They've had no incidents. You know why we don't do that? Because these are highly trained people.
Yeah,
it's slower, it's more expensive, but it's effective.
Well, what was it again before the TSA? It was employees of the airports or employees of, because it was before there was no Department of Homeland Security.
Before 9/11, you had a
right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to train TSA agents as opposed to implementing all these new kind of machines?
These devices are $110,000, $150,000.
Because sometimes you see like how many people are yelling at you about taking your laptop out. There's like 5 sometimes that are yelling at you to take your laptop out, and they're just yelling you to go through the procedures of using the machine. Maybe they could train them. I don't know I don't know what the overhead is and all the economics around it. But
so do you take your iPad out? Because I don't.
No, you don't have to. And apparently the Air you don't have to either.
The Air you don't.
They said you don't have to. Oh, there goes Zadi.
Bye,
Zadi. Have a nice trip.
So I haven't flown since this change.
Yeah. Well, so this Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and this is what Odocta was encouraging. I'm not sure I'd encourage people to do this. It's National Opt-Out Day, in which you say, "No, I'll take the frisk, please." And he said, "Do it in public because it's humiliating to them as well as you, and everybody should see this happening." Mm-hmm. Civil disobedience. What do you think?
I'm all for a solution. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to hate.
Bruce Schneier calls this security theater.
I don't want to hate too much.
No, it's not there.
I can still I identify the fact that it's not the most effective way to do it, and it's not the best way to do it. It's just causing.
And it's intrusive. So there are a lot of TSA Twitter feeds, but none of them, according to TechCrunch, are actually a TSA, except for this one, TSA Blog Team. This is where you can get quick notes and updates concerning the TSA blog. Remember Blogger Bob? I don't know if he's still around.
I mean, as long as they can't capture pictures of your junk. Like,
that's an interesting question. Can they?
I really don't care. If I'm going through and somebody really wants to freaking take a look at, your goods, like, As long as it's not the radiation. I don't want to do the radiation stuff.
They say that they don't, but here from Gizmodo is the U.S. Marshals in a Florida federal courthouse saved 35,000 images on their scanner. These are all images of people. Now, this was a lower quality scanner, so these are not particularly revealing, but they saved them. They say, the TSA say we're not going to save any of them. That's exactly what the federal marshals said.
You know what? I bet you these were saved. These were not deleted on accident, I bet.
Yeah, of course not. It's just it's like Google.
They want to delete them. It's just like it's so much overhead to like, oh shoot, we gotta go through and delete this.
Supposedly these don't
survive. Deleting everything.
Yeah.
And then they gotta, secure delete because all they're doing is telling the data that it's not there, even though it's there.
Kevin, you're a fashionista.
A fashionista.
Look at that Slayer T-shirt he's wearing.
Yes,
that's
awesome.
I do
like Slayer.
Have you seen the new boutiques.com?
No. I have not.
Oh, yeah. This is a beautiful site for people who love to shop for fine fashion wear. And, it's kind of social. It's neat. You can find somebody that you like, Ashley Olsen or Mary-Kate or Jennifer Goodwin or a variety of movie stars and see what fashions. I bet Daria would like this. Jamie Lynn Sigler from The Sopranos, Eve, Anna Paquin. Love her. Sookie Stackhouse.
And then it just lets you follow that person?
You can follow. You can see what fashions. Just look at this site. Isn't that beautiful? Take a wild guess, Kevin. What company owns this site?
A wild guess? Guild Group.
No. Let's take a wild guess. Who owns this boutiques.com? Maybe if we
I would
go
say for the font choice, probably Bloomingdale's.
That's good. Those are good guesses. Let's just go to the help page. Maybe the help page.
Leo Laporte owns this.
That
would be awesome.
I own boutiques.com. Yeah, it's not coming up. I'll tell you who owns it. Google owns it.
No way.
Google.com.
Wait, so this is all because Google's all algorithm based. So basically, they're using the same kind of thing that Amazon uses, where you can take a picture of something and it tells you what it is and where to buy it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as I can tell, you cannot buy stuff on boutiques.com. You're just following people.
Oh, see, they should link to where to buy the stuff. They got to make it so you can.
Well, maybe you can. Let me see. Save, share, love, hate. Maybe I can. Maybe Google gets a percentage. It's really there. We go. Here's Rag and Bone, the Indigo. Boy, I like that.
Add the bag.
Add the bag. There we go. Maybe I can buy it. Wait a minute. I got to select the size. 2 or 4. I guess it's not for me. Email address. Yeah, sign in. I guess you can buy it.
Huh.
So that's a clever, isn't it? You think Marissa Mayer did that?
I don't know.
That seems like
no, she's in charge of location-based services.
Is there a guys section for this, or is it
no?
Okay.
Can you believe that?
Now
so that makes me think. That makes now I feel bad for saying that Google is employing an algorithm that searches everything. I guess it's just women.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen.
She's back.
I'm telling you, Time Warner Cable in LA is not the most.
No. So did you? We were talking about boutiques.com. Have you seen this site? I didn't want to be sexist, so I did it while you were gone.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is a shopping site for women. And you can explore the boutiques, celebrity boutiques. You can follow a celebrity, see what they like, what they wear. You can buy it. This is what Anna Paquin wears, this a lovely rag and bone indigo corset dress. And these fine...
I think that would look good on you, Leo.
Frequent baker. Well, no, they don't have it in my size. It's only size 2 and 4. So I was saying, who do you think... Now, that's taken us to Barney's, so I would then buy it in Barney's. But who do you think owns this site? I did it to Kevin. He didn't know. It's Google.
Really?
This is a new Google site. Isn't that interesting? Did you follow the Google security hole that allowed...
No, but I heard about this.
Yeah. TechCrunch did the story on this. I don't know.
What's the deal?
So if a guy created this website that exploited this hole, Google has fixed it. Google hasn't said anything about it. But let me see if I can find the fella's name. Vahi G. He's a 21-year-old Armenian. He created a website which is now down. If you went to the site, it would say, "Oh, hi," and it would then send. It would then, if you were currently logged in, if you had the cookie for any Google account, it would then send you an email at your Google email address just by going to his website. So, in effect, he was able to harvest your Gmail address just by visiting his site. I'm sure there are a lot of websites that would love to know how to do that.
Absolutely.
Google says they fixed it. Vahi says they've never talked to me. I wanted to tell them about this, but they never contacted me, so I put up a site. Google says the issue is resolved. We fixed the issue in the Google Apps Script API that could have allowed for emails to be sent to Google users without their permission if they visit a specially designed website while signed in. We immediately removed the site that demonstrated the issue and disabled the functionality soon after. Little bug
Google's
there.
been pretty good at keeping things secure.
You think so?
I feel as though like my Gmail's never been compromised. Like all my stuff is pretty.
Felicia Day's got hacked this week.
Is that a hack or is that like a password? Like she had too easy to guess.
She probably had an easy secret question, something like that.
Right, exactly.
So here's the thing to remember. I'm sure you all have done this.
Tie it to your cell phone?
Yeah.
Done what?
Tie it to your cell phone so you can reset your password via your cell phone.
So what they got was her backup email account, and they got that too.
Yeah, see, I don't do that.
And so she couldn't reclaim the password because she didn't have access to her backup email account.
Right.
But they also allow you to set, and everybody who has Gmail right now, to go to Gmail, go to the security settings, and attach a cell phone to it. Because unless the attacker has your cell phone, I mean, if they have your cell phone, you're out of luck. But as long as you continue to have possession of your cell phone, you can send the reset code to your cell phone and get them out of your system.
Right.
So do that now if you haven't done that. If Felicia had done that, she'd be okay. I'm sure she's done it now.
Was this also because there were kind of third-party apps that kind of were tied to this, like Facebook Connect and all of that? I mean, how?
You know, initially they thought it was a Facebook Connect exploit.
Right.
And then I think that they're now saying, no, it's not. I'm not sure. I don't know if we'll ever know exactly what happened.
Well, I'm still not sure how the exploit worked. Like
we don't know. We just know that she lost her account. Oh, you mean the other?
That happens.
Yeah.
The other one.
I mean, you're logged in, so you've got.
It's kind of like Firesheep. You ever play with Firesheep?
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one. So Firesheep, so you don't have to keep re-logging into, let's say, Facebook every time you change pages. It sends you a token that identifies you uniquely. The problem is it sends that token, unless it's on SSL the whole time, in the clear. So Firesheep is that Firefox plugin that sits there, watches the tokens flying around, grabs them, says, Kevin's on his Facebook account, David's on his Twitter account. I have it on here. It's really quite fun. Mm-hmm. In fact, you notice we have a
Firesheep me?
No, because you notice we have a password now on our open access. That's why we put it on.
I need to install Firesheep. That scares me.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's highly illegal, but Kevin, nobody would ever arrest you.
Actually,
hey, you're the one that told me to install it.
System. So you put it on. It's really cool. It shows you all the people who are logged into the services it supports, which is quite a long list, including WordPress.com. Then you double-click on their page. It shows their pictures, too, so you can look around the coffee shop and say, oh, she's cute. You double-click it. You're now in her Facebook account. You can post messages. You can look at her pictures. It's as if you're her because you stole her token.
Wow.
And from Facebook's point of view, you're her, still logged in. This is not fixed yet on Facebook. It is not. Google is one of the reasons I think Google put HTTPS on all Gmail.
Arrington wrote that that Facebook would consider this a feature.
Yeah, makes it easy to log in.
Crazy.
Another story, I think. Go ahead, Zadi.
No, it's a good point. I mean, sometimes I forget about how many different apps I'm kind of logged into at the same time until I kind of go back and check and I forget.
Oh, I want to see if it worked with Dig. Actually, I didn't. I think it did. As a matter of fact,
Jesus.
Did you know that it works with Dig?
Idea.
Yeah, as I remember.
Well, it works with anything that's unencrypted.
Well, yeah. They initially
password,
the guy who wrote it only supported it's Code Butler, CodeButler.github.com or .net. I can't remember what GitHub is. Maybe he's not here. If you Google Code Butler. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Dig was one of the... but you don't... You wouldn't know about this. This would be... You have people who do this, right?
Yes, I do not.
Yeah, all that security and stuff is all handled elsewhere.
That is correct.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can see which services it supports. Oh, well, we'll worry about that later. Here's a story you might like, Kevin.
Yes.
Google offered to buy Twitter for $2.5 to $4 billion, and Twitter laughed. Not nearly enough, they said. In fact, the offer was characterized as, according to the Business Insider, insulting.
I don't think $4 billion is ever insulting.
I can't imagine being. I'd love to be insulted like that.
Seriously.
This was about 3 months ago. Now, this is.
Because there was a rumor that Twitter is raising another round at a $4 billion valuation as we speak. That was a rumor. That's nothing that I know.
Right. How much is Twitter worth, you think?
It's if Facebook's worth 35, Twitter's in the $4 billion-ish kind of range.
I think that's
3 to 4.
reasonable. Yeah. Because it's about a quarter the size of Facebook. They have about, 125 million users.
I think it's over 200.
200 now?
Something like
All
that.
right, so it's bigger than that.
And most of them are active, right?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I know that Facebook's very active. They said
Right.
50% of their user base comes back every day, which is
Every
crazy.
day? I thought it was more every week anyway.
No, I'm sure it's every day. I go back every few hours. And I don't even have a Facebook account.
I thought you just started it up again.
I did. I had to. How can you cover Facebook if you don't have an account? You can't cover it. So as much as it hurts me to do so.
Do you have two accounts? Do you have a fan account as well? Or
no, I have a real account and a page.
Do you use Facebook for its original intentions?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, because I think you get more. I think there's a lot of people, and I would have almost thought that you would have been one of those people that just accepts everyone.
No, I did initially. I had 5,000. Now I only accept hot chicks. That's the original. I believe that's the original use.
That would be amazing if you click on Leo's Facebook page and it's just like 500 really hot chicks. Like, just
I would, except these hot chicks never asked to be my friends. I don't know. No,
I'd be like, damn, Leo's a baller. Look at this. Like, shit. His page is of hot chicks that are his friends writing on his wall. And
let me just actually, that's a good question. I don't know who my friends are.
I never know if it's you. I get a friend request from Leo like every couple months, and I'm like,
you never know.
Really
in fact, Sarah did that. She said, I know Leo doesn't have a Facebook account. You're not Leo. Go away. And then I said, no, it's really me.
Wait, are you the Leo that looks like...
I'm the one that is, I'm on a ball.
I'm
Peter Griffin.
Yeah, Peter Griffin Leo.
You only had one ball pop or two?
I've had two pop in my life.
That's the most amazing. Who drew this for you?
Isn't that great?
I would kill to have something like that.
I can get one of those for you.
That is amazing. Have you seen
it? Looks just like me.
Oh, yeah. I even commented on that photo. Did you see it?
Yeah, it looks just like me. Then my son got on my Facebook, and he said, let me take a picture of myself that looks like I'm stoned and put that as your profile picture. Does he look high there or just...
Wow. Your son has gotten so much older. That's insane.
I know.
How old is Henry?
He's 16. Last night...
And your daughter's in college now.
He comes back from the Andre Nicotina concert across the street here. It's a big Oakland rap star. And
how's your relationship with your son on Facebook publicly?
Oh no, I have no relation. He won't let me. He won't friend me.
Really?
Yeah. Oh no. Neither of my kids will friend me on Facebook.
Haven't you taught them how to
fire
do the
trap them
privacy
or whatever?
Fire. No, you know what? They're not that sophisticated. They log in on my system, and I've got the password saved, of course.
That's amazing.
Henry comes home last night after the rap concert, 1:30. He pokes his head in the door, said, "Can I have some friends over?" Like 15 minutes later, there's 20 girls in our hot tub.
Oh, those are all your Facebook friends.
Yeah, all my Facebook
You're like, don't mind if I do. Did you call into the hot tub and hang out?
That cleared them out real quick.
Yeah, seriously.
Daddy's here. No, I didn't, but I was like, keep it down, guys. The cops are going to come. They were having quite a party.
That's cool.
Out there.
That's a great news story.
I'm not cool. I'm not a cool parent.
Cops shut down rave at Leo Laporte's house in Petaluma.
Yeah, that's good.
So where do you draw the line? I mean,
well, it
was a weekend.
Somebody started lighting up some weed. I said, get it, give me that. And
you're like, puff, puff, pass. What are you doing?
No. It's hard. It's very difficult being a parent of a teenager. As you might imagine these days, it's not easy to know exactly how to handle it. I don't know. And we all talk. We parents talk about this. Let's take a break. Come back in just a bit. We're going to talk about The Office. They're doing a parody on Silicon Valley.
Hey, it's Ryan from Wolf.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how I got woof on here, but I'm sure I'll find the. Why is this on there?
What is it?
That's the website.
This is the website? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. This is Ryan's website. Oh, my God. I was fooled by it.
Whoops.
Oh, my God. This is Ryan, the intern.
Ryan from Wolf. Thanks for choosing wolf.com.
Whenever, wherever. Sign out now to get woofed. Downloads. Want to edge your ride or fax it? Up.
Why was this in the? I saw this in the
on the
list
Office
of stories. That
yeah.
it was on the Office.
Oh, dude, I thought this
is
was like someone sponsoring. Like who's?
I
Wolf?
know this fooled me.
No.
Hi, I'm Rye, founder and your first friend on Woof.com. Setting up your Woof account is quick and easy. It's just a matter of a few simple clicks. So let's get started. Click onto File. Now open File.
Click
and now
File.
you'll see an option, Start Woof.
Start Woof.
Hi, I'm Rye, founder and your first friend on Woof.com.
And then it says,
Setting up your
due to
Woof
high volume of woofers, you weren't able to start woof at this time. It's W-P-A.
Open File. Now open File. And now you'll see an option.
Every time I do it, he starts over.
That's a great job.
This is actually hysterical. I have to say, that's very funny. That's the NBC show, The Office. And he is actually one of the writers and executive producer of the show. But he's also the intern. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more. Zadi Diaz is here from Epic Foo, Zadi.com, or what is the website for Epic Foo? How do I get there, Zadi?
EPICFU.com.
.com. And also Kevin Rose. He's I don't know what Kevin's doing. He's like, what are you, like a blogger, right?
I have a blog.
What does your bio say on Twitter? I like tea and I climb rocks, right?
It says founder of Dig, tech angel investor, and I like tea and climb rocks.
How much angel investing are you doing? A lot?
It depends on I'd say probably 4 to 6 deals a year.
That's pretty good. And is it with a goal to make money, or is it with a goal to help people out?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Path is your latest.
Path is the latest, yeah. And then, so it's as a hobby, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to see all these new startups.
I bet it is.
Come out.
I bet it is.
Absolutely.
And it's a big deal for them to have Kevin Rose on their list. I mean, you probably don't have to put up a whole lot of money. It's more just the presence.
Yeah, I think
that's of value.
Well, you want to put money in if you think it's going to be huge.
Right. The more you put in, the more you get.
Right, exactly. So that varies, but I think angel investing, typically most angel investors will do anything from 25 to super angels will do 200,000 in investment kind of thing. So
is Peter Thiel like the poster boy for all this? Because he's the guy Mark Zuckerberg came to, and he gave him a few $100,000, and now he has like 30% of a $35 billion company.
Yeah, I mean he's
that was a good move.
He's done well, but I think that there's the people that I really look up to. There's a handful of who's some of the big angels out there that
I don't know. I'm pretty good friends.
Reid
with
Hoffman is amazing.
I like
Chris Sacca.
Chris Sacca is
awesome.
And he's kind of he's a really smart guy, and I think he's really good morally and philosophically, which makes a difference, I think. And a lot of he talks that up on his site. You read about it at lowercase capital, and it's kind of inspiring, I think, to have someone, because a lot of the roles of some of these angels anyway is to try to be a mentor to someone as well.
Oh, for sure.
And then and also especially for you, I think that you got so much experience, but more so than that, as an advisor, based on your skills as for UI and UX, I think can help a lot.
That's when I sit down with a new company. It's not just they can take money from anybody, right? So it's not the cash, like you said, Leo. It's really more along the lines of I'm launching something new. Help me not get screwed when I take my first round of funding. And I'm saying, well, you don't want this deal
because you've been through it all before. Right, exactly. You can kind of talk about it.
And you kind of come in as this independent guy who they know that is not going to screw them over, that's just there to try and help them out. And that can apply to, product features or raising capital or whatever it is they're trying to do. Find the right type of engineers. A lot of people have a hard time hiring good engineers, and that was one of the biggest hurdles I've ever had to deal with. So that's
where there's a lot of competition for talent. That's tough.
So the Instagram guys are a great example. I went and had tea with them probably about
a
month ago. Yeah, Kevin and Mike.
Mike, that's right.
And I hung out with them, and one of the things
there's two of them.
There's two of them, and they're growing like crazy. At the time, this was a few weeks ago, they were doing 2 uploads a second.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there saying how do we think we know how we're going to scale this, but we need to get engineers that have done this before.
Right.
And so, I hooked him up with a guy I know, senior scaling engineer at Twitter, that came over and then sat down with him and walked.
That's
him through
another
some
thing,
stuff.
and you've mentioned this before. I find fascinating. People at Dig, Facebook, Twitter.
Oh, we all work together.
All work together.
Absolutely.
You would think they'd be kind of competitive, but no, it's like we're helping. Everybody helps everybody out.
Yeah,
I
without a
love
doubt.
that.
It's not to say that they're going to go work for that company, but they'll come in and spend an hour with them and sit
Are
down.
you all using Cassandra? Is that why?
No. Cassandra is good.
Twitter
for certain
does.
things.
Facebook does.
Twitter
Dig
does for certain things. Facebook only does it for. I think messages.
The
and
high availability stuff.
They are more sharded MySQL still. Facebook is.
You're kidding.
I believe so. I think the bulk of it.
I'm stunned.
Well, Cassandra, they forked it though. They took it in another direction. The version of Cassandra that they're running is not the one that everyone else has access to.
Okay.
So they're a little bit different. Twitter only uses it for certain things. They don't use it for like all of the messages are not stored in Cassandra on Twitter.
Cassandra is a very high availability database that would be an alternative to say MySQL.
Early days for that.
It's very new.
It's very new. It's buggy.
Dig uses it.
We were using it.
Dig 4. That was wasn't that the big?
Was part of, we had some issues with it, but it's funny. One of the guys that started Cassandra sent me an email and was like, "Hey, you're slamming Cassandra. Please don't do this." Blah blah. And the whole thing is it's. There's certain things it's very good at, but you have to also pair the software with the right type of engineer that can debug it and figure out how to actually fix it.
Well, MySQL's like that too. If you don't tune it, it's going to be like a dog.
But it's a lot more stable than Cassandra is.
Right.
Or well,
they're both
what
open
we were
source,
trying
right?
to use it for. Yeah, they're both open source. Yeah. So anyway, it's scaling is not easy. Anyone can build a website that'll scale to a million, a couple million people a month. That's not hard. You get into 10 million, 20 million, 30 million plus a month. That's difficult, especially when it's a write-intensive application. It's not just reads that you can throw into a big like caching like NetScaler. Like you need to have the right talent to figure out which direction to go because there's 10 different solutions out there.
Right.
So like which one do you choose and why? And it's hard.
David and I are going, we don't care. We're glad we're doing what we're doing.
No, I mean, no, I still remember like, I'm not a developer, but I still remember like I've been pretty like enmeshed in the whole thing for the past 4+ years, just into working with developers and dealing with developers and talking about people's and their startups and their scaling problems. And I still remember when you came to me talked to me about Dig and your first program, and you said, we knew we were growing so big when we realized that we were no longer building the site, we were optimizing queries. That's all we were doing is optimizing queries.
The biggest mistake I ever made at Dig when it comes to talent, without a doubt, is that I hired for skill set and not talent. The difference is that you can hire an awesome PHP programmer, a great PHP programmer that'll come in and rewrite your PHP, make it super optimized, and then when all of a sudden PHP is no longer the solution, when it gets to the end of where you can take it, they don't know how to jump to Python or C or a low-level language. They can't go up and down the stack like you'd want a developer. So we were sitting there at one point with 15, 20 really awesome advanced PHP developers that didn't know what to do next. And so we're sitting there like, we really wanted to rewrite this in Python, but we don't have a Python expert, or we want to do this piece in C. And so, hire for the talent of the engineer. They can always learn a new language if they're a skilled engineer.
How do you assess for that?
How do you decipher between talent?
You really, I hate to say it, but there's either a crazy rock star prodigy engineer that you have come in that you can just tell they're really good at jumping up and down the stack, or you hire people out of MIT, Stanford, whatever it may be, that have that background, that have that discipline, that are going to be able to make those jumps around the different languages.
So that's interesting. So it is important then that they have the training, the degree.
Depends. When it comes to algorithm guys, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find someone that's really advanced algorithm engineer that doesn't have the formal training.
Let's take a break. Come back with more. Kevin Rose, David Prager from Revision 3, Zadi Diaz from Epic Fool. We're talking about the week's, really not even about the week's tech news. We're just sitting around BSing, which is really all TWiT ever was. Just a bunch of people talking about what's going on in their lives. Right now, I'd like to talk a little bit about a great car, a great automobile. Now, I know Kevin drives a Porsche, but I drive a Mustang, and a little later on, we're going to have a little race out back down Petaluma's back streets. I just want to warn the CHP, stay away. I bet you can't drift in your Porsche.
If I turn off the traction control, yes.
See, I can drift like a mother. Sometimes I drift. I don't even mean to.
So first there was like a rave got shut down at the Laporte household, and then there's some drifting down the streets of Petaluma.
And it's all Leo.
That's pretty fun.
I'm the bad boy in Petaluma. Let me tell you, it ain't my son. Now, I want to talk about the Edge. Actually, this is the most technological car Ford has ever made. Amazing vehicle. Starts with just the exterior. The lines are beautiful. Stuff you could only really do with the latest, computer-generated designs. It's aerodynamic, gives it incredible gas mileage. Even though it's got that great six-cylinder 3.5-liter TI-VCT engine, which is incredible, the V6, 285 horsepower, and yet EPA estimated 27 highway miles per gallon. Best-in-class second row legroom, which is very, very spacious. Incredible interior. I really like the instrument panel. Reminds me actually a little bit of my Mustang.
Is this the one with the My Ford Touch?
Yeah, it's the My Ford Touch. Is so amazing. Behind the wheel, you've got two screens that are programmable. You can have a tachometer or a variety of things, and then you get the big on the stack. You got the 8-inch screen. It's basically Ford Sync. I know you've heard us talk a lot about Ford Sync, but then it's the next generation with lots more stuff. You can get Stitchers on there, Pandora. Basically the idea is whatever your phone is capable of, your car can do as well. You guys are probably iPhone guys, but on the Android phone, it'll read me my text messages when the text message comes in a robotic voice. It's kind of funny.
You have there.
This is Droid X.
Oh, nice.
And then Windows Phone 7 does it too. I'm a big Droid X fan.
Now, did you know that, I don't even know if it's in your copy notes for about that car, but I think most cars with the My Ford Touch that have that feature built in also have the ability that you can, basically I could tell my phone to connect, and then the car would take my phone's internet and create its own little access point. So you'd connect to the car, so your passengers, instead of tethering to my phone, they'd tether to the car.
It's got Wi-Fi.
The car would get the Wi-Fi from
Isn't
my
that
phone.
amazing? Yeah. 3G Wi-Fi from the phone.
That is cool.
Yeah.
2 USB ports and an SD card slot in the car. I love anything that's got 2 USB ports and an SD card slot in a car. I like that. They also have the Sport package, 305 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque, and that Sport Tune suspension. Now, I want you to take a look at an Edge. It's got the ambient lighting, the capless fuel system, which I really like. It's just really easy. All around, they've just designed a beautiful vehicle. It's the Ford Edge. You take a look, drive one at a Ford dealer near you, and do try the My Ford Touch or the Ford Sync in any of the Ford vehicles. They're really remarkable. The hands-free calling, the complete control of the audio, the climate system, all with voice, all without taking your hands off the wheel or your eyes off the road. They have 911 assist for safety. It's just a great vehicle. Drive one this week at a Ford dealer near you.
I really hope this is how American cars get back on track. Like the fact
I think
that
it
they can
is.
just be so.
I think it is.
Like have the techiest hardcore
Well, I mean,
cars.
I think Ford never ever even declared bankruptcy, and they're doing.
They took
flying high.
no money
And
from
then
the government.
even GM, they're back on track.
We
now,
own GM. That's that's the funniest thing.
But I think the government is actually liquidating.
They're going to get their money back. I think. Yeah, they're going to get out of there.
So yeah, it all went according to plans.
No, I think all the American. I'm a Ford fan, but I think all the American car companies are showing some real resilience, which is important because that's really a big backbone of the nation's economy.
I wonder if the whole problem that Toyota had helped. And I mean, it was not good.
Oh, you
what
bet.
happened, but I mean,
oh, you bet. You go into after that acceleration problem. You go in a Toyota dealer. There's nobody there. Would you buy a Toyota after that?
I mean, in a way, it's like when something bad happens to a company like that, it's almost the safest. Like flying on September 13, 2011, probably the safest time to fly type of thing.
I don't think the day after they announced that there was a huge flaw and you might
No,
have
not the
it.
day
It's
after.
the safest day.
No, but I'm saying like right now. I mean, right now and where they are right now.
Maybe
and
now
things
would
like
be
that.
okay.
Because it's also like there's a lot of to manufacture an automobile. There's an immense amount of engineering to go into that before you go to mass produce. I think that it's been long enough for them to address things. That
figure out what the actual issue is.
All right, I'm going to get your blood pressure up. The Senate panel has approved the domain name seizure bill. The bill known as COICA, Combating Online Infringement and Counterfeit Acts, after a flurry of last-minute lobbying from representatives of the Motion Picture Association of America, the Recording Industry Association of America, the usual bad guys. A Senate committee approved the measure by a unanimous vote. Even the Newspaper Association of America was in on this one, which they said the legislation was needed because online piracy, quote, undermines the investments newspapers make in journalism. labor unions say American workers have suffered significant harm during the theft of copyright and trademark goods. There was an ad in a newspaper targeting Capitol Hill signed by groups including Major League Baseball, the NFL, Nintendo, Viacom, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So
what does this do?
You're going to love Kawaika. So copyright or trademark infringing websites.
Sounds like a drug, like a like a cholesterol drug or something.
By the way, a group of law professors on the other side say that the law is unconstitutional under the First Amendment, would set a dangerous precedent with potentially serious consequences for free expression and global internet freedom. The EFF says it basically is a 1950s-style Hollywood blacklist. The government decides which websites are legitimate or not. The government decides, do we cut these sites off from the internet? A website in danger of having its domain seized or having U.S. internet providers basically say, I don't know what that site is, take it out of the DNS. If it is primarily designed and has no demonstrable commercially significant purpose or use other than offering or providing access to unauthorized copies of copyrighted works. In other words, if it's the Pirate Bay, it doesn't exist. And the government decides it.
That'll never work.
Providing
It'll
access.
Never work because people will get around. But you're talking about like what the spirit of this
it's
is.
easy to get around it. I agree. It shouldn't exist in the first place. But if it did exist, like people tweet that out in a second. Pirate Bay is now the Pirate Bays.
Yeah, but isn't that like
Bay 3?
Well, that's a big First Amendment issue, though. Like they shouldn't have to get that far anyway, right? And that's what the whole argument is. I mean, you shouldn't be able to censor anything without having specific definitions of what speech you're censoring, right?
Yeah, this is not surprising at all. I mean, I think this is why net neutrality is so important and why it's so difficult to communicate that, because once you start talking about net neutrality, kind of people's eyes start glazing over and what does it mean? But things like this starts happening really slowly and you don't even realize it because the language is so complex. I think, talking about this to like my grandmother and my mother, it's you have to sit down for a couple of hours to kind of go through it. It's such an important topic.
What really disappoints me is that a lot of the people on this committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, are people like Patrick Leahy, who is traditionally known and been very good about internet protections. Our own Dianne Feinstein from California, Orrin Hatch from Utah represents Novell, Russ Feingold from Washington, Chuck Grassley of Iowa, Arlen Specter, Chuck Schumer in New York. These are all senators who voted for this, by the way. Just want you to remember when, I guess it's too late, Al Franken voted to censor the internet. I think they don't understand.
They're saying that they can't take down these sites, right? Because they're overseas or whatever it may be.
So they block them.
So they want to block them so that we can't access
Take them out of DNS, basically.
Yeah, that's...
A domain name seizure bill,
That's nice. Unbelievable. Have you I'm sure, Kevin, because you get all the beta of all this stuff, have you played with Facebook's new messaging system?
I have not.
No.
I sent Mark a email saying, can I have an access early? And he said the only way he could do it is just add your name to that list, and then they'll automatically roll it out.
Oh,
unless you work at the company.
Huh?
Only way I can do that is if you go through proper...
Yeah, right. I mean, he told you that, which is great. I'm sure everyone he knows, and he's got, you're good friends with him.
Is that Zadi? Anybody? Do you have it? Anybody have the new messaging?
Has it. I don't know if they're doing that. I think it's just internal thing right now.
It's only internal.
Although I did get that little message now that people are getting to add Facebook and add it as your homepage. So that's interesting.
So what you should do, I guess, right now is go to facebook.com/username and get a username, because I presume
Unless
that
you
will
already
be
have yours, right?
Right. I'm the Leo Laporte.
Who has Leo Laporte?
I don't know. Somebody who's not the Leo Laporte. David Prager, it says here.
Yeah.
So you should get your name, because presumably your address will be whatever that is at facebook.com, right?
Right.
Gosh, I need to get it. I never got a new username. I'm facebook.com/Kevin Rose, but that's my fan page one.
Well, that's okay.
Did you have? But that's not going to be my email address.
The Leo Laporte's my fan page.
So
Oh.
you don't have a personal one,
right? Well, I do. What is it? I think it's Leo. I don't know.
Ooh, I'm going to get another one.
I hate coming up with new email addresses.
Yeah, what do you? Well, first of all, No subject line. I mean, it's messaging, not email. No subject line.
Right.
All the whole thread. If Kevin and I have a chat, a Facebook message, and then an email message, is all the same.
I like the idea.
You like it?
I do like it.
Why?
I think it's cool because it's a unifying all of these little things that have always been like me having to be like, that was a conversation I had here, and it's not actually in my inbox. And if they pull it off, forget that it's Facebook for a second. Let's just say that this is the way that things are going, and then maybe it's Gmail that launches something very similar 6 months from now that we all
I think
use.
Priority Inbox is a little bit like that, right? Although
Well,
it's algorithmic.
But it doesn't follow me around, right? Like I like the idea that I have my phone on me, and I want to have like if Prager says something to me on chat, and I'm away from my computer. Yes, I can have my AIM signed in here.
Now it's in there.
Now it's here. It's saved. I can respond back, and that's still an email that I can search later. It's like I know Google kind of does this with Gtalk, kind of, because you can save your history and search it. And
in fact, I have Google
Voice. If you
Voice.
search your Gmail, you can find previous chats through people with Gchat clients. I just worry that it's going to make it that much harder to try and focus.
Because more crap.
Well, here's the thing. The one thing that Facebook is pretty good at, and that Mark is pretty good at, is making things fairly usable and simple. Like their IM client is simple to use. Like if they can pull it off, and it's not like I have to think like, did I sign into Gtalk and did I, if they can pull it off, it'll be pretty awesome. I don't know. I like the idea of it following me around wherever I go.
Do you think there's something scary? Do you think there's something scary in that in having all your eggs in one basket?
My eggs are already in the Gmail basket. So if like Google owns my life right now.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, I was talking to my sister about this, and it's so much easier for me to communicate with her on Facebook. She doesn't use email at all. So in one way, I think it's great. But I don't know how I feel about it yet until I actually use it.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, like if I had, like right now I have AIM and I have Gmail and I have
use
Skype.
AIM, really?
I use AIM still, yeah. I have
you
Skype.
don't use AIM, you use a client.
I use a client that looks at AIM. I use AIM.
Most of my friends that I chat with on IM are through their AIM account, through their AIM chat accounts.
Right. So, but here's the thing though. If I had something where someone was trying to Skype with me, say someone's trying to Skype video with me, I'm not at my computer, but I'm on my iPhone, but it ports it to FaceTime for me, so I can have a video conversation. Or if I'm not on that, then it opens up a chat with that person. Like that's kind of cool because it's like it figures out what device I'm on and then translates it to the appropriate
Is part of the Facebook messaging
protocol.
to be a conduit? Meaning, like, so you still have all your Gmail, you just get it through your Facebook thing? Or do they want you to start using Kevin Rose at Facebook.com?
No, they're saying that, like, if the person isn't on Facebook and they send you an email to Facebook, it turns into this type of conversation, right? It doesn't look like an email. It's just a conversation you're having with someone, right? And if you happen to be on your phone, it appears on your phone. If you happen to be online, it appears in your browser. And, it kind of follows you around. I don't know.
Isn't the problem that email's broken because it's just too much?
It's too much.
It's out of control.
That's the main thing. Hold on. Okay. The main thing for me is that I go to my Gmail and I have, a couple thousand unread Gmail messages.
Yeah, me too.
If this will follow me around to where I can deal with it right away, then I won't have that problem.
Oh, you need a BlackBerry.
No,
don't you think that problem will just follow you over to
yeah, exactly.
Well, if I deal with it right away,
then pollute your phone now.
No, maybe I just need to
disconnect.
You have to pick and choose when you want to be interrupted by things, because I do think that there's something to be said for focusing on the tasks that you're doing and then deciding whether or not I'm going to deal with the messages that I'm getting. Or if you're out walking around, you don't mind, you can turn that on. And then the other thing is that one of the things that Mark Zuckerberg said was that email is too formal, but in a way it's become so damn informal that that's part of the reason you're getting inundated with too much stuff. And
it's too easy to send an email. This just makes it easier, doesn't it? I mean,
right.
I guess he wants to make it faster to deal with it because you have to open the email sometimes, depending on how you have it set up. And
Mark's interesting.
Delete it or archive it or respond to it or whatever.
I have to say, I think the social network was the best thing that ever happened to him because he's now much more face forward than he used to be. He's leading these events. They're doing a lot of events. They're being very aggressive, doing a lot of stuff. And I think he's kind of stepped up, and he's quite impressive. He seems like he's very, very smart and really thinking about this stuff in new and unique ways. What's scary, though, is Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, right? It's him.
Yeah.
All the ideas are his. And he's got 500 million users. That's a lot of power for one guy. He said, yeah, Facebook's blue because I'm kind of colorblind, and that was the color I could see. This guy has a lot of power. What do you think? Is that, obviously you respect him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a brilliant guy.
Is he listening to people like Brett Taylor, the new CTO?
I don't know about his. Brett. I know Brett pretty well.
Brett's pretty cool.
Yeah, Brett's really cool.
He came from Friendfeed. In fact, you see a lot of Friendfeed in this messaging system.
You see a lot of Friendfeed. I mean, Friendfeed
everywhere.
Developed likes, so like that translated over. But yeah, I think that he likes to debate things out and he likes to think big picture. And I think he's just really good at kind of looking at this and saying like, okay, 6 months from now, I think this is where things are going and doing them slightly differently. He realizes the power of the graph.
We are in a very interesting time. The angel discussion we had a minute ago, I can't think of another time where there's been this kind of creative foment, and then there are people like you and a lot of people like you with a little bit of money and a lot of advice to help fund this. And then there are people like Mark Zuckerberg who can I cannot think back to it. It wasn't Bill Gates. I can't think of another time where one person's ideas had expression to 500 million people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In this way. I think it's unique. It's unique. I don't think you can, Edward R. Murrow, the early days of mass media, I don't think that anything is like this. This takes mass media to the next level, and it's not just national, it's global. So it's, Mark Zuckerberg's impact is not just inside the U.S. as CBS or ABC was. It's everywhere. It's all over the world. Does that scare you, Zadi, that there's that much power in one person?
I mean, I think Mark is genius, and I love just hearing the news that's coming out of him. But I think it is interesting how he takes a 360 approach to it, so that now, when you open your browser, your homepage will be Facebook. Now your emails, forget about them; they'll all be integrated into Facebook. And so it seems like we're returning to, AOL in 1995, where we're going back into these small villages that are kind of, in and out of themselves, their own thing is outside of the internet. So I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a little conflicted about just living within the Facebook world and that being everything and kind of that being my entryway to the web. I'm still waiting to see how it pans out. There's something uncomfortable about it.
It makes me uncomfortable that there's so much power in one person. On the other hand, I celebrate the fact that, just as Larry Lessig said in his review of The Social Network in the New Republic, he said, I celebrate the fact that a guy didn't have to ask permission. He just did it. He didn't have to ask Harvard. He didn't have to ask anybody. He just said, I got to, and because I guess he's a genius and was able to kind of tap into this raw nerve, instant success. I mean, truly instant success. Here's another way that we live in a brave new world. Look at this. This is Kickstarter.com is a website where you can go if you want to raise money for an idea. You don't have to go to a venture capital. You don't have to go to an angel investor. You go to Kickstarter.com and say, well, that's what the diaspora people did at the beginning of the year. A bunch of NYU students say, we want to build an open Facebook. If you pledge money and we raise enough money, we will do it. They raised hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's a really trivial example. Scott Wilson is a product designer. He has a studio called Minimal in Chicago where they create stuff like the Nike Presto watch, the Uba bassinet. He worked on Xbox Connect. He went to Kickstarter and said, look, I want to make a wristwatch that you can attach your iPod Nano to because it's got a clock on it. If I get $15,000 pledged, I'll do it. He's got $262,000.
But why did they overraise?
Well, everybody who wants to participate can do it. It's funded.
So
now, once you pledge, you have to give the money if he makes his goal.
So who has control of like the product revenue?
He does.
He does.
So you don't get any kind of the revenue by pledging.
You don't get an investment, but look, see, if you pledge $1 or more, you'll be able to buy it. If you pledge $25 or more, and by the way, whoever sets the Kickstarter site up can do this, you'll receive a kit, which will sell for $35 at retail. Pledge $50, you'll get more, $70 more. Zadi, have you ever thought this would be a great way to launch a show? Is just put this up here and say, if enough people want this show, I'll make it.
Actually, a lot of people are using Kickstarter now in LA in the web series community. I'm seeing it all the time. I think it's a great way to fund independent projects that people may be interested in. A lot of documentary filmmakers are doing it, and people that contribute money get producer credits. There's another site called Indiegogo, because the difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo is like, if you don't meet your goal on Kickstarter, then the money that's contributed, it all goes back to your credit. Nothing gets charged.
Right.
But with Indiegogo, if you contribute, it doesn't matter if you don't reach your goal, you still get the money that was contributed. So there are two ways to go about it. But Indiegogo, that model of self-funding is really has really helped a lot of producers and a lot of creators and people that just generally have a lot of amazing ideas.
This is to me why I get so excited about this brave new world. So here's a guy. He says, I want to do a web series about an a cappella group in college. And if I can raise $1,000, I'll do it. He's raised $1,570 on Indiegogo. So, and you know, he put a little video up here. It's like Glee,
so
an independent Glee.
To pitch to people to send money for him to do a project.
Yeah.
And they're just sending to him because they think, oh, that'd be really cool. I'd like to see you be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you heard of Quirky.com?
Corgi?
No, Quirky, Quirky. It was started by a guy named Ben Kaufman. It's for like people who want to be inventors of more tangible hard goods. So if you want some people to help you on the design from everything from a logo to the industrial design of what the engineering of the product would be, you go there and you submit your idea and you ask people to jump in and not volunteer, but give you those ideas. Like, I need a logo and people will be working on that. I need a way that I can fit a battery into a corner somewhere like this, or I want a level or a certain work.
So exciting.
And so Quirky, I think they've been around for a while, but it's really neat because you can come there with an idea. It's like, I wish I could make a widget, but I don't have the wherewithal to mill the plastic. I don't have the wherewithal to do all these different things. Or
Daria's doing that right now. She's doing
it's really neat. And so I think Quirky, I thought when I first heard of it, like, that sounds like a great idea in theory, but apparently it's actually in practice it's working. They're putting out products every week.
And then they do a revenue split with those people, right? All the people that were
so based
involved.
on how your level of involvement is, you'll get that back.
It's awesome.
So you're giving up a lot of, you're owning your invention and you're deciding what parts of it you want to give away to other people to contribute.
What a wonderful democratizing force this is. And you couldn't have it without the internet. So it's really the internet is what powers this. It's the ability for us to all gather together and make things happen. I think it's incredibly powerful.
That's why we have to make sure it stays open.
Hell yeah. Hells yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hells yeah.
Hells yeah.
So here's a little scary Facebook story. A debt collector went after a Florida woman. Mark One Financial had its employees harass her and her family members on her Facebook page. So they went and in a papers filed with the Florida court, she's asking for damages as well as court intervention to stop Mark One Financial from using the social network to contact her and her relatives. This is maybe...
Can't she just change the
Beecham
privacy
owed about
features?
2 months' worth, or a little more than $720. She said her finance company, Mark One Financial, offered to defer payments, but then another unforeseen event.
I don't know why they would go on Facebook and contact my family.
A collections agent from the finance company, posing as a Jeff Happenstance, befriended Beecham on Facebook.
If they can't find you, it's easy to pull up a Facebook account and see that you have a Facebook account. And then they have the information to go and possibly call you at work, call you at home.
And call you on your cell phone. Beecham claims she even received text messages, up to 20 in a single day, all traced back to Mark One Financial.
Probably shouldn't friend people you don't know. I mean, but people do that all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
Mark Happenstance, I think I'll friend him.
There was a story on This American Life talking about how people use social networks to go after people to collect money and how they pretend to be things and where the legal line is on that, which hasn't been too established yet because people haven't been doing it.
Right.
So how you can,
brand
if
new.
you don't answer your phone call because you think it's a debt collector, don't respond to an email because you think it's a debt collector.
Yeah.
There's other places where you're, living your life that happen to be online.
Right.
Then where is the line drawn? Can they try and contact you on social networks? Absolutely. Can they pretend there's someone else? And that's where the line is on whether you can or can't.
Right.
Because a lot of these debt collectors, they're working almost some of them as freelancers. They say, hey, someone owes you $100. If you can collect 100 of it, just give me 40 or 60. And that's why people do
Who
it.
takes that job? Somebody who doesn't like people.
Oh, yeah.
I hate people. I want to get them.
There's people
They're
working every
deadbeats.
The problem is that people also aren't trained because when you get a call from a debt collector on the phone, you know how to react to that. But a lot of people aren't, skilled at figuring out how to react to people that are contacting them through social networks. So what's the protocol there? So because it's not a regular thing.
Just friend your friends. Don't friend your people. That's what I tell my kids. You can friend anybody if that you know them in real life, but don't friend them if you don't know them in real life. Who knows who they are?
Hey, so I got a very quick story from this week that since Apple's such a popular topic. So what did you think about that? You know,
Beatles.
Everyone loves it when Steve Jobs says, "Oh, and one more thing," and that's when he introduces the product. And so I haven't really seen him hijack their homepage to such an extent that they
wow,
did. They
that was
hijacked
amazing.
and said, "Tomorrow will be a day that you will never forget." Is basically what they said.
Yeah.
And then I think people knew because they knew what it would be.
It was a Paul McCartney
speculation
quote, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. What was it? I can't remember. But it was
And that's
from
why
a,
people
was
knew what
from
it
a
was. But
McCartney
I almost felt like he was crying wolf a little too much.
Yeah, but they didn't hold a press conference. They just
dropped it. Maybe it was fun. I mean, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter. Steve Jobs can. I'm sure it was him who decided, yes, let's do this because no one else would.
He loves the
let him do
Beatles. He was very excited, but I think there was a little bit of a backlash from the press saying, "Come on, dude, you can't say this is a day you'll never forget." And all it is you could buy the Beatles on iTunes.
Yeah.
Well,
Please.
everyone knew it was going to be an iTunes thing. I was actually excited. I was hoping that they would overhaul this iTunes software, meaning like anytime I love opening, I like going to podcast homepage on iTunes or a TV show homepage or a artist, but it's so slow. So when I see the link, I'm like, is it going to open it in iTunes? No,
it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
It's awful.
And even the default, at least on the Mac, for opening an MP4,
it's
you
written
can
in
tell
Apple script for crying out loud.
Instead of opening it in QuickTime, it'll open it in iTunes. I know I could change it, but whenever I click on an MP4, it plays it in iTunes. Like, crap, it's going to play it in iTunes.
Don't launch iTunes, whatever you do.
It reminds me of what was that music match? Remember Music Match?
Music Match. It would take over.
Take over. It was like had the whole thing.
Yeah, Music Match. That was a good program for its time.
It was for a little while. What
happened to them? Did they get by?
I just went back to Winamp.
Winamp. It really kicks the llama's butt.
Yeah.
I
don't know why. They were the number one MP3 player for a little while, short while.
I think Winamp's actually pretty
AOL.
hot. Yeah, AOL.
For like $200 and some
That's
million.
And then Nullsoft, and then the culture clash there because the Nullsoft guys were basically hackers.
Yeah.
But now Winamp's still out there. In fact, it's pretty good. A lot of people use it to sync on Windows with if you don't want to use iTunes on Windows. It plays video. It does podcasts really well. In fact, we're on Winamp. We're featured podcast on Winamp.
Wow, it's changed.
Yeah. Look at Winamp. They provide us with bandwidth.
That's why I've heard their name.
Yeah, see? That's a good deal. You provide us with bandwidth. David Prager will know you.
Hook us up, dude. We need the free bandwidth.
I'm going to try to get Zadi a better internet connection. No,
do you know anybody at Time Warner? That's the question. I know somebody at Audible. Audible's got a new book out. They did this last year. They did something called Metatropolis. I don't know if you're familiar with. The idea was get these great science fiction authors all together to write a series of novels or novellas, I guess, really kind of long short stories around a single unified world. So they all came up with a world, and then they wrote Metatropolis. And now there's a new Metropolis Cascadia. And it is really good. Written and produced exclusively for digital audio. They were nominated for a Hugo Award last year. It's all about the Pacific Northwest, kind of the new Pacific Northwest in both politically, economically, ecologically. They call it Cascadia. And they have great novelists. Jay Lake, who, of course, has won a Hugo and World Fantasy Award. Mary Robinette Cowell. Tobias Bucknell. Elizabeth Baer. I love her stuff. She's a Hugo Award winner. Carl Schroeder and Ken Scholes. And then, get who they got to narrate this sucker. They got the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation. They've got Renee Auberjonois, Kate Mulgrew, Captain Janeway, Will Wheaton. Yep.
Awesome. LeVar Burton,
Jonathan Frakes, Gates McFadden, Dr. Beverly Crusher. It's kind of fun. In fact, there's a video. If you go to audible.com on the front page, they interview the people who do the voices for this and how they come up with their voices. LeVar's on it. Gates is. It's pretty cool. So here's the deal. You can download a free story from the original Metatropolis right now and get kind of started in the new Metatropolis if you go to, and this is the first time we've ever told you this link, audible.com. It's only for TWiT listeners, so don't tell the folks who listen to Dig Nation. Audible.com/meta. Michael Hogan from Battlestar Galactica narrates this one.
Wait, is that Who?
Saul Tice.
Oh, Saul. Okay, I want.
Oh, I know. It'd be nice. I know who you're talking
I
about.
want Adama to.
Adama would do. No, Adama does. I think one of the stories on this.
No way.
Yeah, Captain Adama does one of the stories on this. I
was
think so.
just talking about this last night. And
Yeah.
he would be an awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So check it out, Metatropolis. You can get Metatropolis.
Why don't we have this?
Free.
Audible?
On Dignation.
We do have Audible, but not this particular.
I have a very good relationship with them. They are my friends because I'm a major Audible. You know how long I just celebrated my 9th anniversary as an Audible customer. That's how long I've been an Audible customer.
Nice.
Well, it was because I had that long-ass commute from here to Tech TV.
Have you authored any books? I mean,
I've read a book. I read a book. It was a short story called Little Golden Writing.
How long ago did you do the VR?
A couple of years ago, I went over to Newark where they are. And they have you know what they're doing with science fiction is they realize that nobody's ever going to pay to get science fiction in audiobooks. It's just there's not enough money. So they built They have 9 audio studios at the Audible headquarters in Newark, and they bring in actors from Broadway and stuff. And that's why all of these great sci-fi books now. And this is how they did this. This is exclusive for Audible. You can get it just in time for your long holiday weekend. You're going over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house for Thanksgiving. Well, go to audible.com/meta, get that free first story. And as always, you can get the books at 2 books free by becoming an Audible member, signing up for that platinum plan. If you go to audible.com/twit2. So Metatropolis Cascadia. I've been listening to it. It's really, they sent me an advanced copy. It's just really, really great. And do go to the website, audible.com/meta, because there's a lot of content there, videos and so forth. There's synopses, interviews.
Can you plug
with all the people?
Can you put the audiobooks onto the Kindles? I'm pretty sure you can.
Yes, they go on the Kindle. You know what's great? With the Ford Sync, you put it on your phone, and then when I get in the car, the book starts. When I get out of the car, it stops, and it's just like there. It's like waiting to read to me. They've got some wallpapers if you want. You can have some Cascadia wallpapers. These are all the people reading. This is really Audible's kind of. I think they do this just for fun.
I can't believe they got all the Star Trek people.
Isn't
Did you
that
see
cool?
that there's a site called WatchTrek.com. You can stream every single episode from every season of the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager.
Oh, that's
Enterprise.
legal.
No, I don't know. Well, you can. You go to it. It's WatchTrek.com. I just randomly decided I wanted to watch.
Sure, that's
dude.
That's the kind of site that if this COECA bill passes, they will no longer exist. They will no longer. They won't even. You couldn't. You would just. They'd be there, but nobody would be able to find them.
Let me see you the card.
Audible.com/twit2 for 2 free books. You sign up for the Platinum account. Your first month's free. You can cancel at any time. Those books are yours to keep forever. Audible.com/meta for your first chapter from Metatropolis Cascadia. I love it.
Oh, everyone's hating that I spilled a secret, I guess.
Is it a secret?
I don't know.
Say it again. WatchTrek.com.
Yeah, it's great.
It cannot be legal.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I just, I found it on someone promoting it on Facebook, and I was like, holy crap.
Shh. Do you think that there are sites like that people go, oh, don't tell anybody because if the powers that be find out, we're out of business?
I think the URL is too valuable. If you had if it was a little pirate site, you'd call it,
freaking way this is legal.
Else.
Watch truck.
Yeah. I mean, you can click on any one of those things. You pick any episode from any season. You can full screen it. Its quality's good.
Digging the ditch.
Amazing. I found it on Pirate Bay.
This is
kidding.
This is, by the way, the minute I show 1 second from that website,
your collaborator.
YouTube pulls all our shows.
Oh, interesting.
They do, by the way. Well, I'll tell you.
Why can't you talk about that? You're not downloading it.
No. It's my opinion. This is a news show, and this is absolutely covered by fair use because we're not using it like to sell. We're talking about the news. For instance, I'll do this right now, and this will get this show pulled from YouTube. TSA, security.
Mm-hmm.
They want to search you. Big story, right?
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live did
it's the best. I love that.
It did a little bit on it.
Did you see that on
No,
Saturday Night Live?
Watch, this will get us pulled from YouTube.
I love that.
Would you be? So it's got to be the worst job right now in the world. Right?
So
I mean, to be a TSA agent, you don't want to tell your friends, your family, anybody. It's just got to be. Is there anybody? Let's look in the chat room.
Oh no, I know someone who's
a TSA agent.
No, someone who got a job by TSA, and they were tweeting about how excited they were that their brother got a job at TSA. And I'm like, clearly it's not someone working. It's somewhere in the not the corporate office, the government office, but someone we know.
Really?
Really?
Well, yeah. Dan's girlfriend's brother or something like that. She was like, he got a job at the TSA.
All right.
I was like,
anybody in the chat room who works for the TSA, You want to step forward and announce yourself right now. This is your chance. There are 1,000. I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. I guess there's nobody in the chat room.
So if all TSA agents were replaced by beautiful people, you know, models, would you be more willing to
absolutely
to go through?
I'd start hiding stuff down there.
Well, would you rather do that or be the person driving around giving people parking tickets?
That's not a good job either.
Yeah,
but at least I don't know. I would right now is not a good time to be a TSA agent.
I just say all people should just go, you know, and be free down there.
Oh, gee, yeah, wear your Attila kilt every time.
Exactly.
Be free? You mean go commando? Is that what you're saying?
Go commando every time you go and you know, and see how that works out.
Wow. Don't know.
I'm joking.
I don't know if I'm ready to do that. Did you know that Blue Water Productions is going to do a Mark Zuckerberg comic? A bio comic that's coming out in... let's see, they announced it in September, coming out pretty soon. Mark Zuckerberg, creator of Face. This is Mark's going to like this better than The Social Network. Look at that. Hi.
Oh, man.
I'm Mark Zuckerberg. It premiered Friday. Let's see. Oh, no, the movie premiered Friday. I think this is going to go on sale at comic book stores in December, $6.99. Hi, Mark Zuckerberg. It's not a good likeness, is it?
But The Social Network was, most of the, was not really, it was the creation of the site, but most of the story was the drama about the guys that wanted to have him help build another site for him. And it was
the Winklevoss twins.
Because the whole story, it was even told like it was present day, and then they do these
too
flashbacks.
many flashbacks.
Not flashbacks, but
that's what I didn't like about the movie. It was too much. It was like deposition, flashback, flashback. I was sick of it.
The flashbacks were the deposition.
Did you like the movie,
flash
Kevin?
forwards is what they were.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I like Aaron Sorkin. I just, it's funny because you know Mark. I don't know Mark, but I just felt like it was just kind of demeaning of him and of women.
Except
boy.
There was one moment that I'm sure Mark probably didn't say it, but I'm sure when he saw it, because I'm sure he saw the movie.
He did see. But he actually
one
bought
moment
it.
that he probably said that he probably thought, "No, this is some cool." It was some cool stuff. Was when he was being deposed and they're asking, "Do you have my full attention?" And
that was the best scene in the movie. They gave him great lines.
The best lines there. And you know, Mark saw that and thought, "Oh, okay, I'm cool with that."
Yeah, that made him look like a hero. Did you see the movie, Zadi?
I did. I really liked it.
You loved it.
Great. I did. I know that a lot of people had kind of, questions about it, but I thought it actually made me feel like I got a better insight into his character, whether it's Mark or not. Just kind of gave
somebody's character. Yeah.
Somebody's character.
Did you feel it was demeaning to women? I mean, all the women. There were two strong female characters. There was a lawyer and his girlfriend, but the rest of them were really just bimbos in that movie.
Yeah. I definitely see the argument there. But I guess living in Los Angeles, you kind of tend to have this other brain attached where you're kind of like, well, it's entertainment, it's a movie,
That's LA.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's, the feminist in you kind of sees it as like, yeah, this is kind of, it's bull. There's only one or two strong characters, but at the same time, it's a movie and you kind of have to realize that it is and kind of take it for what it is.
Two stories that'll make us bemoan the future of kids. Nintendo DS, some new games. They're going to, if you can't finish the game or you get to a tough spot, it'll play it for you. You just say, go ahead and play it, and it plays the tough part.
That sucks.
Kids today. In my day, we had to play all the tough levels all the way through.
That's right.
And a great article in the New York Times, Growing Up Digital, Wired for Distraction. Matt Richtel wrote this one, came out in the Sunday Times, today's Times. He talks about Vishal Singh, who is a student in Redwood City, California, 17-year-old. He said his summer reading assignment was Cat's Cradle. He managed 43 pages in 2 months. He said, on YouTube, you can get a whole story in 6 minutes. A book takes so long. I prefer the immediate gratification. Researchers say young people's brains are not rewarded or are rewarded for not staying on task, for jumping to the next thing. The worry is we're raising a generation of kids in front of screens whose brains are going to be wired differently. Your brain's wired differently, Kevin. You grew up in that, right?
Yeah,
I think it's worse
yes and
now.
no. I mean, we didn't have tab browsing when I was growing up.
We didn't have tab browsing when I was a kid. I mean, you didn't have IM either, did you? Or did you?
Yeah, there was AIM.
You had AIM?
Was
Okay.
just starting to come out.
Did
but-
you have it running all the time?
None of my friends were on it. When you were a
Right.
geek back then, you were made
You were
fun
alone.
of.
Yeah, you were alone.
Yeah, I used to, like, kids would threaten to beat you up in high school if you were too much into computers.
You didn't band together with the BBS users?
I had some friends that were BBS users, but we were all nerds, dude. Like, if you go back and look at my high school photos or like my grade school and junior high, like, I'm the biggest dork in the freaking out of the entire class. Like, without a doubt. Like, coming in with my hair all messed up and just didn't even care what I was wearing that day.
Zadi, were you a geek in high school?
I was very odd. I was twice the height of all of my classmates, which was not very good. And I was never interested in what, I mean, I grew up in the South Bronx, and so I was interested in different things than what my friends were usually interested in, which, was cool. I ended up finding my circle, but yes, a strange kid.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9", 5'10".
So you're pretty tall.
Yeah.
So now the teachers say, and this New York Times article quotes one of the parents. He says, if you're not on top of technology, you're not going to be on top of the world. The parents are saying, get out there and learn about technology. This is the future, isn't it? And yet neuroscientists are a little worried that this generation has just got no attention span.
Yeah,
Well,
they're actually really worried.
It's also less. It's in addition to attention span. I think it's because the human brain isn't made to multitask as well as people think that they can. So, like, I mean, I think there's been studies that the better you are, the better you think you are at multitasking, the worse you really are. And
that's right.
Yeah, and they'll look at like what it takes for someone to focus between things. So, like, the whole tab browsing thing. If you've got a store, an article you're reading, and then you get an IM, and then you start reading another story, and then you want to leave an email open that you're going to. The amount of total time that you'd spend on doing those three things is going to be significantly higher than if you just did one, then the other, then the other.
Yeah.
You, Kevin, you kind of tried to find peace and quiet and relaxation. That's one of the things they say. Dr. Rich of the Harvard Medical School, downtime is to the brain what sleep is to the body, but kids are in a constant mode of stimulation.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that we've never seen anything like this before. This is the first time that kids are being raised in this world of multitasking. You have to have. I got a friend of mine is a scientist at UCSF that's studying this, and he's a professor out there. And you should have him on and talk about.
Love to.
You should, Adam.
Adam, yeah,
love
he's
to.
Brilliant guy. All he does is study attention, and he's really concerned about.
Is he
this.
concerned?
Oh yeah, he's absolutely concerned. So it's a big deal.
This guy Rich has written a paper. He says he's pushing for the headline. He says is "Bring Back Boredom." He's written a paper called "Finding Huck Finn: Reclaiming Childhood from the River of Electronic Screens." How many screens do we have in this picture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm surrounded by 14 screens right now.
Yeah. You put your iPad in front of you.
And you know what? In case I get bored, I got the iPad so I can harvest some crops if you guys don't keep it interesting.
The difference, which I thought was really interesting when I was talking to Adam, is that he was saying that we have this, and yes, if I have a couple minutes of downtime, I'm pulling up my iPhone and I'm playing like iBasket or I'm playing a game or whatever.
Right.
But that is something that I learned to do later in life, right?
So it's not your brain isn't molded in that.
Right, exactly. So we're raising kids that are molded in this constant, always changing environment of multitasking and tab browsing and this and that. And it's like, apparently it's different. It's doing something different to the brain when you do it from that young of an age. And they're worried, like, will that person ever be able to sit through, a 500-page novel? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like there's bigger impacts here than like we can do that, yes, but we weren't raised the same way that these kids are being raised today.
You still have your iPad, and you know the Angry Birds is still hiding back.
I can't use I cannot read a book on my iPad because I know Cut the Rope or Angry Birds is behind there, and I'll be sitting there and I'll read like 15 pages and I'll be like, I'm gonna go play some Cut the Rope, and I love that game. It's a great game, and it's just too hard. It's too hard for me.
It's funny. I was at Creative Room conference.
What?
I said that's what she said, but it was too late. It was.
Go ahead, Zadi.
Sorry, Zadi.
No. I was going to say that.
She's taller than you. She can kick your ass.
I know she can.
No. There was this thing called Creative Room Conference that I was at a couple of weeks ago, and I happened to have lunch with this professor of this arts college here in California, and he was talking about the last 10 years of him teaching and how it's changed, and now how he teaches kids not so much because they all feel like they know more than he does. So what he does now is kind of teach failure and kind of how to give them a place to kind of experiment rather than actually teach them it. So his coursework has changed throughout the years, and he's just found it interesting how it's more about teaching kids to fail and being okay with that, because we are so, multitasking and all that is so prevalent now.
Let's teach them to read and write. How about that? Let's teach them some skills here.
Is it just me, or when I write for more than like 5 minutes now, for even like 2 minutes, my hand starts to hurt?
Oh yeah, forget that. Forget that.
I'm the same way. I'm like, ouch.
Oh, no,
Go back to
give me
typing.
a keyboard. Yeah, and give me a keyboard. Speaking of Angry Birds, sequel on the way from the pig's point of view.
I'm excited for this. This is gonna be huge.
I started playing Angry Birds because of you.
And
You're my gateway drug. I had never heard of it. Now I'm playing Cut the Rope. I can't
Cut
stop.
the Rope is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So good.
It's really these are essentially puzzle games. They're physics puzzle games.
Yeah.
They're really
I just
fun.
started playing this game Spirits on the iPad. It's like Lemmings, but these little spirits.
Oh, I miss
way.
Lemmings.
Yeah,
I love Lemmings.
Except instead of only walking, if they come to an edge, they'll jump and they're impervious to falling. But there's wind that affects them as well, and you can make some of the actions you can.
Downloading it right now. Spirits.
Is it an iPad?
It's iPad only right now. And the thing is, if it was an iPhone, it might be kind of small. Although, I mean, if you
cool with it being on the
Cut the
iPad.
Rope on the iPhone, you might struggle because you're used to it on the iPad.
And I like it much better on the iPad. The iPad's a pretty cool gaming device.
Sprite or Spirits?
Spirits.
I don't see it.
Should be there.
I see Sprite.
Yeah, let me see.
People aren't saying in the chat that saying that you're full of it and no such
doesn't
game
exist.
exists.
It doesn't exist.
Unless they pulled it from the store.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Angry Birds sequel. Rovio CEO Peter Vesterbacka said the game is going to be available first on all major gaming platforms soon, not just mobile devices, computers, consoles, everywhere.
Spirits, yeah.
Are you searching for it for iPad? You might be looking on it for
I'm
iPhone.
just looking on my iPad for Spirits, but I'll find it. I probably shouldn't install it right now. The sequel will be told from the point of view of the pigs.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, it is interesting. Like, what are the pigs going to use to fight with?
Their brains.
No, they're going to use to defend with.
It'd be cool if you have to defend. Like,
You
if you have to
defend,
build
yeah.
up your fortress.
So they have
that's
so
a
many
good
birds to
idea.
throw at you, and you have to defend certain things a certain way.
That's awesome.
You know, these two nations. There it is. Spirits for iPad. I'll
they
search
can fight
for
with
it.
bacon. That's what somebody in the chat room said.
Bacon. It's true. I like bacon and eggs. So it's just not right. So I want to be part of both of them. So have you seen this? This is a Israeli video about the peace talks between the birds and the pigs.
Dear friends, after too many years and too many victims, I believe we have reached an agreement that will put an end to the senseless conflict between you. The UN will guarantee the defense of the pigs from any aerial attack, while the birds will get most of their eggs back.
You got to read the subtitles. It's time to end this struggle, which has cost millions of innocent people their ability to concentrate in work. Enough with that already. Show some respect. What did I do? What did I do? Stop eating like a pig. What? What was that? Say what? Say what? Back off! Uh-oh. All right, you get the idea.
But this wasn't made
It's all
by
good.
Rovio.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You can you start to understand the birds. That's what's scary. Wish my father were here to witness this
Creepy how
moment.
you can see the dudes inside of the pigs.
So they end up fighting. He brings out the Angry Birds music. All is well. It's pretty funny. Erez Nehederet, Israeli for Wonderful Country, a popular live sketch comedy show in Israel. So obviously it's not just the U.S. Israel's also having an Angry Birds epidemic.
Amazing.
Now, I read an article in, was it Gizmodo, saying, oh, Angry Birds, look at this. This is evidence of fragmentation in the Android market. Look at all the Android phones it doesn't run on. It doesn't run on the old phones. It only runs on the new phones. Big deal. It runs by the way, Samsung Galaxy Tab. I should have brought it. Very good Angry Birds platform. A little smaller than the iPad.
Oh,
7 inches.
Interesting. But it's Android.
It's Android.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's smaller than...
Oh, I should have brought it. I could show you. It's great. It's great.
I want an Android device, and it's not going to be on my phone. You know, I kind of want that, like,
I like the Droid, but I think you would like the 7-inch tablets. I really do.
You can hack the iPhone and install Android OS on it.
So, Mannheim, Germany.
Dual boot. Dual boot your iPhone. That would be
Zadi
amazing.
knows where I'm going with this, doesn't she? Zadi already knows what I'm talking about. Google Street View. Nobody can explain this picture from Google Street View, but it seems to be a naked man climbing out of his trunk.
And is there like a dog lying on the ground?
And there's a dog lying on the ground.
For no reason.
For no reason. Maybe he's climbing in, climbing out. We don't know. His clothes are on the ground. It seems
What is that next to the car? What
I
is
don't know.
that?
Orange juice or gasoline? I don't know. A broken umbrella is apparently there.
I think there's people that see a Google Street View car many blocks away. Many blocks away. They're like, dude, go home and do let's set something up cool and let's try and get in there.
The smartest. You've done that before?
No, when I was on the freeway, I was following one, and I was just like flipping them off and stuff in case they like ever put it on Street View, because then I can go and see myself.
You're just jealous because Patrick Norton got caught by Street View on Street
Did
View.
he?
And, oh yeah,
But that was years ago. Actually.
Years ago, going into
when it was still pixelated, you could barely recognize
DLTV. What years ago?
That's funny.
I think here's what Google. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. They should put out ahead of time a schedule. You'd have much more interesting Street View.
For sure.
You just say, hey, we're coming to your town. We'll be there 3 o'clock. Have fun. Knock yourself out. Don't you think?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Wouldn't that be good?
It'd be fun to like go in on a place and then be able to jump back through time, like have like a timeline,
right?
And so you could be like, okay, show me this street when Mardi Gras is going on in this year or something like that. That could be.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, all of it's archived the same way as. I mean, there's going to be a Google Street View, like what's the site that shows the Wayback Machine, but for Google Street View. In the future, you'll be able to do that. Might be interesting.
Flip through it.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. One last story, and then we're going to get going. Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix, points out that nobody is watching the movies on the iPad, the iPhone, the portable devices. He says there isn't any appetite on small devices for long-form video.
He's got the data to back that
and
up.
He's got
at least as far as the long-form content like movies. I bet you there's some people watching on iPads. Well, if you're at home, don't watch it on your iPad.
Knows.
See, that's for streaming.
Yeah.
People will watch movies on the iPad, I think, but maybe not through Netflix, because you might be on a plane somewhere. You might be traveling somewhere where you're not able to stream the movie to your iPad. And maybe that's why they don't have as many people
You're concerned
streaming.
about battery life also, right?
He says...
Yeah, if you're at home, then don't stream on your iPad. Stream on something better in terms of the display.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The only thing I stream on a regular basis are NFL games to my iPhone when I'm at the gym. Because that way I can watch DirecTV, boom, watch the NFL game, because they have wireless at my gym.
Well, what he's saying, which is kind of interesting, by putting Netflix on the Xbox, PS3, and Mac, that increased its subscriber base. They got more Netflix users. But he said coming to the iPhone and iPad had negligible impact on the business at all. At all.
I wonder if that'll change. I kind of find myself watching movies right before I'm going to bed. I will turn on Netflix or Hulu on my iPhone and watch a little bit of it. So I don't know if that'll change once the battery life does get better.
It's kind of sad. I just see Zadi curled up, pillow, little tiny iPhone, just watching a little sad little movie.
It's quite sad, actually.
All alone, a tear falling from her eye. At least I have this little iPhone.
Keeps me warm.
You can follow Zadi on Twitter at ZADI. And, of course, epicfoo.com is her web video. So good to have you on, finally. I really apologize for not getting you on sooner.
I apologize for Time Warner Cable, but thank you.
No need. We'll have you back. And next time, just come up to the cottage. Then we won't have to worry about you freezing and dying.
I would love that.
We'll keep
Thanks
the heat on. Kevin Rose, of course, is at Dignation, dig.com, kevinrose.com. You're doing that great show with Tim Ferriss. I like that.
Random show.
You got a new show coming out, right?
I do.
You want to debut that here?
It's basically what I really want to do is I get to meet all these really cool entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I would like to sit down with them over tea and just talk about the creative side of what they're building. Because, they go on air and they talk about, where will Twitter be 5 years from now or whatever it may be. But I want to get into like how they actually come up with the ideas for features and things like that.
You can call it This Week in Startups. I understand that's available.
Is it available? Did he stop doing the show?
Yeah, sure he did.
No, he did not.
I don't think you can copyright title.
Jason's show, I've watched it. It's a little, it's quite a bit different than what I want to get to.
I love the idea of getting into it and finding out. I would watch that like crazy. I would love, because to me the process was very interesting. And these are the smartest people in our culture, in our society right now. They're doing very interesting things.
It should be fun.
I'd love to do that. So will that be at kevinrose.com?
Yeah, I'm basically going to put up the videos on my site. I was going to call the show Forward, but I've come up with a different name for it.
Good.
So
when do you think the first one?
I'm hoping January 1st.
Okay, beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We will look for that. He's also Kevin Rose on Twitter. Yes. David Prager is the heart and soul of Revision 3. There would be no Revision 3 if there were not a D.L. Prager.
Thank you.
Anything you want to talk about? Got anything exciting coming up? Any employees I can poach?
Yeah, right. No, things are going. We're having a really great time where we've been scaling our ad sales team really well, and being able.
You got the best guy in the business, Brad Murphy, working for you.
People in the chat room were talking about HD Nation going away, and they're all upset about that.
No, it's
and
not.
HD
It's part of
Nation
Techzilla.
Yeah, so like basically, it's the full content of that, but we're going to double the output of Techzilla, and within that, will
that's
be
the way to
HD
do
Nation.
it.
Yeah, because I
love Robert and I love Patrick, and I think them together, it's a great show. That's the way it ought to be. Thank you, David. Thank you, chat room, for not being too mean. Thank you all for being here. We are doing a best of TWiT for the week after Christmas. So if you go to twit.tv/best of and just let us know what were your favorite shows, not only for TWiT, but for Twig, Mac Break Weekly, Net at Night. We're taking care of all of them. As I mentioned, Gary Vaynerchuk is on for our 1 hour special interview, our TWiT Talks. 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at live.twit.tv this Wednesday. Tom Merritt and I will get to talk to him. And our Tron special, Sarah Lane's Tron special, she went down to the special effects. What's the name of the special effects place that she went to? Is it PDI? I can't remember. Anyway, is debuting this Tuesday. So just in time for your Thanksgiving at youtube.com/twit, unless they pull it for indecent exposure. I thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time. Another TWiT is in the can.